Hey folks, how you doing today? How's it going? Blue Jump, thank you so much for subscribing at Tier 1 for 8 months. Let's go, and I hope y'all are ready for some Ignister support. I know I am. Because I like them Ignisters. Getting some din-din in my tummy. Sorry for the late start, everyone. I was hoping I could get editing done and food all done in a timely manner, and it turns out I was capable of doing neither of those things. That being said, if for some reason you weren't here the rest of this weekend, you should probably be pressing that follow button to make sure notifications are on, because this is day 3, the final day of what was supposed to be May's custom card review stream, where I bring all of you fine, lovely people in here who have helped support me, and I look at their creative custom creations. Playing some Mario Kart, cool. Enjoy some karting. Let's go ahead and get things started. Especially because the first guest is in a very different time zone. Let me see if I can get all that pulled up here. That's right there. Close that out. And we'll head over here to see Mega Combi's custom cards today. Let's go enter the guest comms and go join. Mega Combi, if you are here, please enter the guest com. Oh, nope, I see you just there. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, it's going well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Spending my evening with all y'all lovely people, and I'm ready to see what you've brought to the table today. Do you have anything you want to say about the archetype before we get started?
So the Crewmate archetype is a bunch of cards I designed a little while back, all based on characters from me and my friend's roleplay game.
Sick.
To massively oversimplify, pirates, but myths are real.
So when someone says I'm sending you to Davy Jones's locker, Davy Jones is literally waiting with the lid open.
Yep.
Heck yes. Alrighty. Oh no, continue.
So the kind of main theme of the archetype is having multiple archetypes, multiple attributes. So each of the monsters has at least 2 attributes that reflect both the characteristics of the character, but also the relationships between people. And the 3 main deck monsters that are dark are the 3 that kind of have a quite a close relationship with each other, whilst maybe a bit of strife between ones who don't share.
All right, I can dig that.
And then, so the main deck is our characters and the things we do, and the extra deck is all non-player characters. So they're more focused on just supporting the main deck cards and playing more attributes for those effects.
Gotcha.
Like it says at the top, there's more of these that I've just put down below because they're less important, and I know we've got limited time.
Well, then, let's not use up any more of it. Let's go ahead and move on to these main deck monsters. Crewmate Kaboom, a level 1 Winged Beast Dark monster with 500 attack and 0 defense. The attribute of this card is also always treated as Wind. When a crewmate monster is sent to the graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points to special summon this card from your hand, then summon a crewmate token, which is a level 4 dark zombie monster with 1,000 attack and defense in defense position. You only special summon this card once per turn, and you contribute a crewmate monster as a quick effect to return 1 card on the field to its owner's hand. Oh, so it gives you the token you can use to just comp evac a card back. That's pretty sick.
Tried to have it so each of them has has 2 effects, one kind of the unsummon or to do with summoning something, and then most of them also have some way of interacting with the opponent's board. So you can either choose to stick with the main deck monsters or go into the extra deck monsters for different kind of ways of interacting.
Alrighty. Next up, we have Crewmate Scholar Drift, a level 2 Earth Spellcaster monster with 1,000 attack and defense, whose attribute is also always treated as Dark. If this card is summoned, you can add a crewmate monster from your deck to your hand except a copy of this card, and you can change this attack position monster to defense position to change target other monster's battle position as well. Okay, little position manipulation here. Not the most impactful effect, but it goes under the radar and it's appreciated when you have access to it.
And I felt I couldn't give a really strong effect to the one that searches other monsters.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's a good balancing idea. All right, next one is Crewmate Chemist Cherries, a level 3 fire psychic monster with a 1400 attack and 1000 defense, who's also always treated as an earth attribute monster. If this card is summoned, you can add a Crewmate spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. You can only activate this effect once per turn, and while a crewmate card is sent to your graveyard, your opponent loses 400 life points. Now, that is not once per turn.
The searches, but not the damage.
Oh, that's looking a little funky. I'm going to assume we're not going to run into some gigantic link spam engine later on in this archetype, but if it does, oh boy, the reverse tax dragon is real.
I haven't got a great chance to really play test it, but I don't think you'd be able to deal like ever FTK with that, but you could probably deal a fair chunk if you got really a really good hand.
Alright, next up is Crewmate Combatant Gilson, a level 4 Dark Warrior monster with 1800 attack and defense that is also always treated as a water attribute monster. If this card is summoned, you can special summon a Crewmate monster from your hand or grave, which shares an attribute with this card except for a copy of this card. You can only use this effect once per turn, and while you control another crewmate monster, this card gains 300 attack. Okay, so it immediately sets up itself turning into a Cyber Dragon-sized monster, and it's a water and a dark, so far that means we have Drift that we can summon, that we've talked about so far.
You could also summon Amandine, because she's Dark Wind.
Oh, there it is, the big dark in all capital letters, doink. Alrighty. Next up is Crewmate Creature Wilhelmina, a level 5 Water Sea Serpent monster with 2200 attack and 1500 defense that is also always treated as an Earth monster. If you control a Crewmate monster, which shares an attribute with this card, with a different name, you can special summon this card from your hand, and once per turn you contribute another monster you control to destroy a monster your opponent controls, then draw a card. As a quick effect, okay, this card is powerful, holy cow. I have identified the win condition.
Honestly, hearing you read it back there, I probably should make that not a quick effect.
Well, I mean,
hearing someone else say it makes me think.
I think what you should do is make it a hard once per turn. Because I don't think the effect itself is like... It's good. It's not going to break the game open. It kind of gives it like, this is the thing this deck can do as opposed to other things. Popping cards and drawing cards is like, I'm going to make sure that I'm having advantage while I'm taking stuff away from you. But if you have a board of like 4 other monsters, because this doesn't specify it has to be another crewmate monster, you can just tribute a token you have. That's where it starts being a problem. Alright, next up, I already love this name, Crewmate Call to Arms. The Mortal Kombat energy here is staggering, and I appreciate it.
I'm nuts for alliteration.
Good. Bonus points for the alliteration. Continue a spell card once per turn. When you summon a crewmate monster, you can search your deck for a crewmate monster that shares at least one attribute with that monster and add it to your hand. Okay, yeah. Simple search, and takes advantage of our dual attribute nature. I do like that. Crewmate Scheme Commences is a normal trap card, having you pay 1,000 life points. If you control a crewmate monster with the following attributes, activate these effects in sequence. If you control a dark, send a crewmate card from your deck to the grave. If there's an earth, you destroy up to 1 monster on the field. If there's a fire, destroy up to 1 spell or trap card on the field. If you have a light, add up to 1 crewmate monster from your graveyard to your hand. Water, add up to 1 crewmate monster from your deck to your hand. And wind, special summon a crewmate monster from your hand. Okay, so we're getting, even if we only have 1 monster, we're at least getting 2. And I don't have the quick calculus in my head right now, but like, just like Wilhelmina is earth and water, so that's just like pop a card and a search a card. That's incredible.
I should probably also hard once per turn that.
You might also probably want to hard once per turn that too. All right, extra deck. Crewmate Critter Lemon is a Link 1 with a downward pointing arrow that is an Earth Beast monster with 500 attack, requiring any crewmate monster as material. The attribute of this card is also treated as fire. You can only link summon one lemon once per turn. If this card is link summoned, look at the top card of your opponent's deck, and you may then put it on the bottom of their deck. If this card is sent to the graveyard, return it to the extra deck. Ooh, an infinitely repeatable Link 1.
That's why I made it. You can only summon it once per turn.
That is a good idea. Alright, next is Crewmate Carpenter Anika, a Link 2 with an upright and a downward pointing arrow. So it's like a Y missing one of its little hands. It is a Earth Warrior with 1,000 attack, requiring 2 monsters, including at least 1 crewmate monster. This is also a light monster. If you link summon this card, add a crewmate monster in your graveyard to your hand, and if this card is co-linked when you resolve the effect, special summon it instead. Ooh, nifty. Crewmate Craft Golden Deceit. Is that the name of the ship?
That's the name of the ship.
That is a great name for a ship. Holy cow. If the Golden Deceit pulls up in my docks, I'm running. I don't own a docking business anymore. All right. It's a Link 3, so it's left, backward, forward. Do you mean up and down?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So left, up, down.
I don't know why
sideways,
it's different in those ones.
It has 2,500 attack, is in a water aqua, also treated as a light, requires 2 or more crewmate monsters. If this card is link summoned and points to a crewmate monster, you set a crewmate spell or trap card from your graveyard to your side of the field, and you cannot activate cards with that card's name this turn. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send the same type of crewmate card, either monster, spell, or trap, from your field to the graveyard to negate the activation of that card's effects until the end phase. Huh. That's actually pretty interesting way of doing that. Cause like you have things like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend that'll do something like this, but it generally targets. This works along the same kind of axis, except it's worded in a way that hits cards that aren't necessarily on the field, but also lingeringly keeps them negated, so if something has a secondary effect, you're not going to get to use it. That's pretty nifty. And then you're also recycling a spell or trap card, and we've already seen the kinds of goofy things you can do with Scheme.
The idea being you're setting yourself up to also, you can either use that spell or trap on their turn or negate something with it.
I like it. I like it. Next up, we have Crewmate Goddess Isoria, a Link 4, which is all diagonals. It is an aqua water monster with 2,800 attack, requiring 2 or more crewmate monsters. It's also treated as a light attribute monster. This Link summoned card cannot be destroyed or targeted by your opponent's card effects. And you can only activate one of each effect per turn. Shuffle a crewmate card from your graveyard or hand into the deck to draw a card. And when a card effect controlled by your opponent resolves, just negate it. You know, just stop it. Cease. Alrighty. Other support cards. We have Crewmate Capsizing. A quick play spell card. When a crewmate monster is sent to the graveyard, target 1 card on the field and shuffle it into its owner's deck. If you control a water monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard to return a monster attacking a crewmate monster you control to its owner's hand. Okay. So that's what? That's removal in response to something being sent to the graveyard. And then it's also battle protection. Okay.
But very predictable, at least, battle protection.
Yeah, that's fair. Telegraphed, but better than nothing. Alright, Crewmate Necromancy, spell card. If you control a dark attribute crewmate monster, you can special summon 1 monster from either player's graveyard, and it is treated as a zombie type in addition to its other types. And you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a crewmate monster you control and give it 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. Cool. Monster Reborn, and a little boosty boo. Crewmate Kaboom is a counter trap card. When a card or effect is activated, if you control a crewmate monster, you negate that activation and send that card to the graveyard. Then if you control a fire attribute monster, destroy up to 1 other card on the field. Alright. Omni Negate plus removal. We take those. Extra deck has Crewmate Caretaker Manuela, a Link 2 with down, left, and right arrows. Has 1,000 attack, is a warrior water monster. Materials are 2 monsters, including at least 1 crewmate. It also is treated as a light monster. When you link summon this card, you can draw a card for each monster this card points to. Then, if you drew any cards by this effect, discard a card. Okay, that's a good clause to end at the end there. Alrighty. Obeyed Mantis, thank you so much for subscribing at tier 1 and gifting a sub to Hey It's That Dude. Alright, next we have Crewmate Ship's Captain Henry, a Link 3 with down, left, down, right, and forward arrows. So we've got that decode talker arrows. Requiring 2 or more crewmate monsters as material. It has 2,000 attack, is also always treated as a dark monster. If this card is link summoned, special summon a crewmate monster from your hand or grave to a zone this card points to, and banish it when it leaves the field. Alright. We can just link that up immediately into the goddess then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
The idea being you can, again, it's all about like choosing what kind of board you want to set up. You could either go into the other Link 3 and set up the negates that way, or you could go into Astoria for a kind of more powerful negate.
Valid. Alright, and the last one on our list is Crewmate Goddess of Rebirth Amiya, a Link 6 that is all the top 3 and all the bottom 3, so everything but left and right. It is a dark aqua monster that's also always treated as light, water, and wind. They're covering the huge spectrum on this one. Requires any crewmate link monster and any number of crewmate monsters. And it would still need to equal 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. This card is unaffected by other card effects. If this card is link summoned, you can activate one of the following effects once for each material used to summon this card. You may activate the same effect more than once. Alright. You can special summon a crewmate token, which has the same stats as the last crewmate token, to a zone this card points to. You cannot use monster summoned by this effect as link material the turn they are summoned. Or send a monster this card points you to the graveyard. Or monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. Or monsters you control gain 500 attack. Or shuffle a crewmate card in your graveyard into the deck and draw a card. That is some value. Holy cow. Okay, so that's like the next part of the win condition. I have detected it.
So that's how you're supposed to kill your opponent.
Yeah, if they don't have any attack stats, then they're going to fold pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, this, so I don't think, like we were saying earlier, I don't think that we found the card that causes the Chemist Cherries FTK to happen, which is a good thing. I like it. I like the aesthetics. I like the naming convention. And I think they're saying it in chat too, having a link deck that cares about attributes. I dig it. It's half the reason that I love Plunder Patrol so much.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, are there any interactions or anything that I skipped over that you want to bring attention to, or are we going to go to the Nova scale?
Probably the only thing is bonus points in chat if anyone can figure out what the fusion of Crewmate Goddess of Rebirth Ami is from the attributes.
You said the fusion?
Mm-hmm. It's 2 characters put together.
2 characters. Dark, light, water, and wind. Alright, folks. Type it in the comments. I don't have a prize for you. Maybe. We'll see. Alright. Well then, let me go ahead and crack open the scale here. So, novelty. Have we seen a deck like this before? Are we drawing on some previous conventions? Well, like I was saying earlier, a seafaring archetype that cares about attributes does ring a lot like Plunder Patrol, but that one is also trying to do a bunch of shenanigans with equipping cards and checking your opponent for having certain attributes, not necessarily you having them.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who plays Plunder Patrol Emblem do not interact. So I don't think I would knock for that too much. Yeah, just an attributes matter deck. Recently there was Vanquish Soul, but that's very limited on what they care about, and then most of their game plan ends up just it's essentially a card check as opposed to caring about having certain kinds of attributes. Them having multiples everywhere is pretty cool. I think a 4 is warranted on the novelty. I think there's a lot of new stuff here that I'd appreciate cracking open in a pack to try out for the first time. Objectivity on here. How powerful are these cards? Some of these Link monsters are a little silly.
Mm.
I think that some of the more powerful ones, like Amiya, are restricted by the fact that they require so much link material. And outside of things like Captain Henry, I don't think there's a lot of ways to cheat these into play without spending a lot of resources. So I'm not entirely sure if it's like card economy wise, it's cheating. Um, They are pretty powerful. I know that we ran into a few problem-solving card text snags here and there. So I think objectivity on this one, we can give that a 3. Uh,
Mm.
it could use a little bit more polishing on the formatting, and the power level I think is a bit above average. So we'll just give it a 3 for those. Versatility. Can this see play in other decks? I did not see any kind of lock that kept us from playing other kinds of strategies while we have it. Um, I'm seeing the synergistic things like the level 3 psychic monster, so we could play E-Telly, so this immediately has ties to things like Punk you could play it with if you found any synergies with that.
Uh,
Um,
a lot of the extra deck is exclusively crewmate monsters, but outside of that, yeah, it's you're able to play
yeah.
with other cards.
Well, and it does the thing that Plunder Patrol does too, where while it doesn't take advantage of it, you can go into our lower tiered Link monsters by just using off-theme stuff and a crewmate monster. So it's not technically like super splashable, but it does let you pivot between your play styles pretty cleanly, which is a good thing. So, but you are right. A lot of the stuff just focuses entirely on crewmate monsters. And with a lack of decks that care about attributes in general, maybe you would play this in like Vanquish Souls, like I said, because you would have like one that's treated as Scholar Drift is an Earth and a Dark, so that's 3/4 of the attributes you need all in a single card already, which is fantastic. Um, I think this can also have a 3 in versatility. I could see some of these cards being like teched in as a little mini engine for stuff, or having other cards played in it to make it work.
Hmm.
And for awesomeness, folks, I'm giving it a 5. It has the alliteration. It replaces C's with K's. They're seafaring creatures and people that are also dealing with the myths of the sea, and they also have a cool goddess in their extra deck. I can't not give it a 5 on awesomeness. So this all comes together to get a 15 from me on the Nova scale.
Thank you.
Hey, and thank you for sharing. Do you have any final thoughts or anything that you want to share with the audience or me before we move on to our next guest?
No. Hope y'all have a great night.
All right, well, hey, thank you so much, Mega Combi, for supporting the channel and for stopping by, and you have a good one, okay?
Okay. Bye.
Bye! Gem, yes, all of these are out of 5. So maximum score is 20. Highest you can get any is 5. It's a good job. It's pretty good. Also, hey, Mantis, I'm sorry I couldn't say anything more when you stopped by, but hey, welcome back. How you doing? Alrighty. Let's get the list pulled up here. And let's welcome in our next guest. Corbin is on the list here, but I don't think Corbin sent me any new cards. So I think we'll have to keep Corbin on hold for a bit, and we'll have to check in with them later. For now, I believe it's time for Blitzwolf. Blitzwolf, show thyself. Should be theirs. Oh, I'm already seeing some fantastic names here for things that I want to talk about. Holy calzone.
I have arrived.
What is that? Is that Blitzwolf?
Yes.
Wow.
That's
Good to have you.
great.
How you doing today?
I am doing
Well, Street Fighter came out, so
that.
Oh, are you having some issues with your mic? It's kind of fading in and out.
Is it better now?
It's still pretty quiet.
Okay, I can't really do anything
about this because I'm
Oh.
playing through AirPods.
Wait, okay, there we go. Right now it's good. Can you say something to confirm if you're good?
I'm good.
Oh no. Okay, it is fading out. Ugh.
Hold on, let me try something.
Oh no, Obeyed Mantis, you're good. You do your thing. You don't have to apologize. I missed you though. Armed Dragon Ojam is my brethren. We get support. I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Okay, there we go. That's
Better.
At the end there, the audio jumped up. Could you try saying something else really quickly?
oh there.
Nah, it got quiet again.
So I don't really see how I can fix
It's all this. Probably something with this.
Yeah. We might have to skip out on. I'll of course talk about it, but we might have a problem with you presenting anything on the archetype if the audio isn't coming through.
It's kind of
Self-explanatory. It's continuing from last month. The whole combination between characters type thing. You can kind of tell.
Oh yeah. When I saw Ultimate Armed Dragon Tyranno Cannon, I lost it. All right, well then, I'll just go ahead and clean off the Nova scale, and then I'm going to go ahead and give these a bit of a read and check out these funky little critters. First up, we have Ultimate Armed Dragon Tyranno Cannon, a level 11 dinosaur wind fusion monster with 3,400 attack and 3,000 defense, requiring an armed dragon monster and a level 6 or higher dinosaur monster. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add an Ojama, armed dragon, or dinosaur monster from your deck to your hand. As a quick effect, destroy a dinosaur monster on your field or hand. To change all of your opponent's monsters to face down defense position, any monster that cannot change the battle position is returned to the hand. Okay, so we're bringing in the Darumadal energy on this one. And if this card leaves the field, you can special summon an armed dragon monster from your deck or hand, and this is treated as if it was special summoned by the effect of an armed dragon monster. I mean, it already is, because it's already an armed dragon monster, so it's a little redundant there, but it does mean that we get to summon. It doesn't ignore summoning conditions, and it doesn't say a specific armed dragon monster, so I'm not sure if that's specific for anything. But we do. It is nice to have a floating effect on top of it. I'm also wondering if, like, because there's Ojama, Armed Dragon, and then Dinosaur. Like this, I feel like it would name check, like, it's checking the name, not the type. But that's just what I would read from it just by reading it by itself here.
The ignoring summoning condition is that with this, you
could bring out level 10.
Is there an ignoring summon? I don't see ignoring summoning condition on here.
Okay, then I guess not.
But if we added that, then yeah, that would be that would get some pretty. Would that get like the gigantic armed dragon catapult cannon one that just ends the game when you summon it?
No.
Okay, thank goodness. Alrighty.
Because it's not from the deck.
but you could summon out the level 10.
Got it. Okay, yeah, someone from deck or hand. Got it. Okay, that was a good pickup on there. Alrighty. Next up is
Because
Malefic
of one
Earthbound
thing.
Immortal Kokopekapu, a level 8 dark fiend monster, if I remember correctly, with 3,500 attack, 2,000 defense. Must first be special summoned by banishing an Earthbound Immortal monster from your hand or deck. Yeah, that lines up. Must first be special summoned by banishing an Earthbound Immortal monster from your deck or hand. Okay, so I think we have a double on that one. While this card is face up on the field, it cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Field spells cannot be destroyed or targeted by card effects. This card can attack directly and cannot be targeted for an attack. If this card destroys a monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the highest attack monster on the field. Oh, that's even better than Flame Wingman. You're at least burning for 35 whenever you do it, because it'll count itself. That's amazing.
Okay, I have a question. Does this sound better?
Oh, yeah, that was good. Could you talk again to see if it maintained?
Hello?
Oh my, yeah, I think whatever you did, I think it helped.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk through my phone then.
Okay, sounds good.
So, the funny thing with this is that it not only works with Earthbound Immortals by giving them a monster on the field without having to tribute summon, but it also protects both the Malefic field spell and the Earthbound Immortal field spell.
That's pretty good. Now, this card is lacking the text that says that it goes to the graveyard if there's not a field spell. Was that intentional?
I mean, yes, because it's kind of protecting its own field spell.
Oh, that's true, but like if there isn't a field spell in the first place, the way it's worded here, it wouldn't even need a field spell.
Oh yeah. If there is no field spell, it will be nuked.
Okay,
like
so it is supposed to have that text.
Yes.
Okay. No, yeah, that's pretty neat.
Now, for this next card, I do have some facts at the end to add to one of your videos you did.
Oh, well then. Then let's not waste any time. We have Ancient Rose Dragon, a level 8 dark, I presume, dragon monster with 2400 attack and 3100 defense, requiring generic materials. I also assume, yeah, a synchro monster. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add a field spell from your deck to your hand, and you can banish a plant monster from your grave to banish all other monsters on the field. Alright, what's that info?
Okay, funny fact about Luna. It's the reason why she doesn't really have much of an archetype or a deck. She never really dueled during the entire show.
Yeah, she has, like, what? A duel during the opening act. She has another duel whenever they're up against the Dark Signers, and like a third duel during the World Grand Prix. Am I remembering that right?
Okay, so she had 4 duels. One where she was brainwashed because they wanted to explain what happened to Ancient Fairy Dragon. 2, she kind of just finished the Dark Signer after Leo got passed out. 3 was her tag duel with Leo against the Iliaster. And 4 was with her, Jack, Leo against Aporia.
Right.
So you tell me why she doesn't have much of a deck.
Okay, so here's the funny thing about that, though. There is someone that has an even more established archetype in that same series who had, I would argue, less than a single duel. Tenjo, the ancient artifact guy from the prison with the flared out hair and the crystal skull and the tower. He had like one duel, and he has a comprehensible archetype.
Well, no, what's funny? He didn't even duel. You say dueled instead of him.
Yeah, didn't he get like his butt kicked, and then Yusei took the deck for like a round 2?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It's wild. I wish they had put more thought into giving Luna an archetype. It's not fair.
Yeah, also funny thing, Luna and Akiza's Signer Dragons are the only ones that are level 7.
And that's why all that stuff has to say level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro.
Yes.
Alrighty. So for the card itself, get you a field spell is a board wipe.
Yes.
That seems good.
Yeah. And now this next card I will mention, I did make my own character for Arc V.
Hell yeah.
So he has 2 decks. 1 I will reveal next video, and 2 during the whole Synchro Dimension Tech Genius.
Yeah, how did they skip that on the Greatest Hits album? That's wild. We are seeing here Power Tool Dragon TG Rex, requiring a tuner and 1 or more non-tuner synchro monsters. What's up?
It's actually pronounced because of how Tech Genius works. Revolution Extra.
Revolution. Okay, so Power Tool Dragon TG Revolution Extra is a level 12 Earth Synchro monster with 3900 attack and 3400 defense, requiring a tuner monster and one or more non-tuner synchro monsters. Once per turn during the main phase, you can target up to 3 equip spells, 1 from your hand, 1 from your deck, and 1 from your graveyard. Equip those cards to this card, and this effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, if this card is destroyed by battle or by your opponent's card effect, you can target a level 10 or lower synchro monster in your grave and special summon it. If your opponent would special summon a monster, negate that special summon, and if you do, destroy it. Now, that doesn't have a once per turn clause on it. Was that intentional?
Yes, it was. It's meant to be a better halberd cannon.
Well, you built it. Holy cow. You put royal oppression on legs.
Well, I mean, halberd cannon just negates the normal summon, and nowadays you don't even use the normal summon.
Not exclusively, no. Moby? 1 second. Moby's poking his head in places he's not supposed to. Go on. Go on, cat. Move. Skedaddle. Hey? I know you like biting cables. I know you do it. It's your favorite pastime. Sorry for the interruption. If I leave him alone, he's gonna snack when he's not supposed to be snacking.
Oh, I understand that fact. My dog scratches my door when she wants to walk in and just jump on my bed.
Oh my goodness. Here, 1 second. Let me go put some food in his bowl real quick.
So how are you people doing?
Okay, we are back. So, are there any interactions or any pieces of trivia you want to talk about for these cards that we missed, or is it time to head to the Nova scale?
Not really. The combination was kind of like, okay, Leo and Bruno, Machine Dex, Akiza and Luna, the only girls, and level 7 Synchros, Malefic, Earthbound Immortal, Field Spell Requirement, and just Season 2 GX.
Alrighty. Well then, let's go ahead and see where we stand on the Nova scale here. So for novelty's sake, these are technically all remixes of monsters that we've seen before, given a new context. But I do like the cards that we have chosen to mishmash together. I think especially the Earthbound Immortal Malefic card is just such a good overlap of two archetypes' main mechanics that I can't help but, like, applaud the recognition and creativity on that one. So
Especially because we're getting new Earthbound Immortal stuff.
we're getting the Fusion Synchro, baby!
Yeah! Except we're missing one fusion.
Well, we'll see what happens when the full set list comes out. Even though these are based on cards that already exist, I'm going to go ahead and bump it up from a 1 to a 2, just as I think some of these combinations are kind of inspired.
Yes.
Objectivity. I know formatting-wise, we've run into a few snags on things, especially with Tyranno Cannon. Are these properly formatted is going to take a bit of a hit on that one. As for the power levels on some of these things, let's just go down the list here, or up the list. The power, Revolution, was it Revolution Extra?
Yes.
Revolution Extra.
Considering that if you look at Tech Genius Shooting Star, it's Shooting Star Tech Genius Extra.
Got it.
It's how it's supposed to say. Or expanded, I can't remember.
So Revolution Extra is pretty good, but I wouldn't call it broken. I mean, once you establish it and you get it on board, all inherent special summons are out the window, but you've already invested a tuner and a non-tuner synchro to make a level 12 monster, so that's and it doesn't have any protection, so I think that's fine. Ancient Rose Dragon is potentially a problem since it's basically terraforming in a level 8 synchro monster. I believe Sword Soul are already calling me on the phone right now, telling me that they're going to tech in all kinds of wacky cards. The Malefic Earthbound is kind of wacky because it doesn't itself require a field spell, so you could just play this in any deck, banish an Earthbound Immortal from your deck to just summon this, and now you have a 3,500 point monster that has a lot of good protection and punches things and then burns your opponent for a huge amount of damage. Ultimate Armed Dragon Tyranno Cannon is, I think, arguably the most balanced out of all of them, though it is still pretty good with that Daruma Cannon effect. So, that's pretty funky. I'm going to go ahead and give these a 3 in objectivity. Versatility. Can these see play in a lot of decks? Once again, that kind of runs the gamut here. Tyranno Cannon is very specifically locked into decks combining Armed Dragon and Dinosaurs. But all 3 of these other cards could see play in basically everything. I know, Zeldreka said that Sword Soul isn't running plants, but that's only for the banishing effect. You can still just make this and get the field spell, which is just kind of nutty. So I'm going to give it a 4 in versatility. Because some of these cards, you could just play in anything and they would fit right in a home. As long as they, of course, run synchros. And awesomeness, it's a little bit of a pattern here. 2, 3, 4, but it's getting a 5 from me because some of these combinations are sick as all get out. I'm already imagining the cool kind of tech, like extensions that Ultimate Conductor Tyranno has for the Armed Dragon part. I'm putting together what an Ancient Rose Dragon might look like. It invokes very powerful imagery. I really love it, so that's really cool. So I think this is going to getting a 14 on the scale for me.
Okay. Also, if you want to quickly check Discord comments, your Discord, I put in a little sneak peek on next month's.
Oh, dear?
Yes. I like spoiling.
Oh, you're spoiling me with this. I'm looking forward to seeing how that... Oh, wow. I'm so curious.
And this is why my character in Arc V, because this has every single summoning mechanic except this one.
Okay, all right.
So he can be the good guy, Ragey.
We always do enjoy the idea of being a good guy capitalist. It's one of those impossible power fantasies that...
Yes, also quick side note, I think he would be like Rachel Alucard from BlazBlue. That one character that knows what's going on, but can't really say what's going on.
I have to keep silent for the fate of the world, and also to look like a mysterious son of a bitch.
Well, that, and if I might say something, Zark might awaken again.
Shh. No, don't say his name. Surely they will not make a core set that revolves around Zark, thereby tempting fate.
Ha 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 ha.
Alright, any final words for the audience before we move on to our next guest blitz?
Oh, there's a blinding light outside my window right now.
Oh no! Wait, close the blind! Folks, I think Blitz got conscripted into Smash Brothers. Alrighty. So, thank you very much again, Blitzwolf, for showing us these quirky combinations. Next up, we have Almento's cards. Almento, if you would like to join us in the special guest comms on the Discord, we may begin our Eldritch communion.
Hello.
Hello, Almento. Oh, my apologies. I know you just got here, but I do need to take a moment to thank Emperor Stove for gifting 5 Tier 1 subscriptions to the chat. Gentle Fiends, Iron Glass, Shauna Hart, Jenga VT, and Chibi Gohan. I hope you all enjoy. Stove, thank you so much. How you doing today?
Emperor Stove, I want your Exodia Paleozoic deck. Looks fun as hell.
Wait, what? I'm out of the
Yeah.
loop.
Oh, Emperor Stove created a Paleozoic Exodia deck that just used the Paleozoics to just hold the line while he assembled Exodia over a couple turns, and he showed it off on Luke Von Karma's sub replays.
Of course, it was a Luke Von Karma replay. DM me, you got it, Stove. Don't tempt me with that. Don't tempt me with this any time.
And it's all in Master Duel as well.
It would have to be.
Oh, it looked so fun. Anyways,
I literally can't. You're not on the Discord. Okay, never mind. I was gonna do it right now, but I've failed in my quest to be a funny little guy. Almento, thank you for dealing with the interruption. Please, what do you have to show us today?
I have personas to show you.
Yes, Persona. Oh, I'm already in love.
So, let's start with Arsene.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have here are, with the exception of Arsene, rather than them being a coherent archetype, they are a series of boss monsters that would appear in of related boss monsters that would appear in different decks, a la the dual dragons from the 5D's manga.
Oh, okay.
Arsene is different. As you can see, he has 3 effects that occur on a summon. If you want to go ahead and read them.
Yeah, let me go ahead. Real quick, Obeyed Mantis, thank you for stopping by. Have yourself a good one. Arsene, if this card is normal or special summoned, apply one of the following effects. Once per turn, you can either fusion summon a Persona monster from your extra deck by sending cards from your hand or field to the graveyard as fusion material. Target one monster on the field. This card's level becomes equal to that card's current level. Or declare a number between 1 and 4. This card's level becomes equal to that number, and while this card's level is equal to the declared number, it is treated as a tuner. You may use this card as material for the summon of a Persona, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Link monster, regardless of this card's type or attribute. Okay.
So it has to match levels, but its attribute and type doesn't matter. The idea is, I would imagine that, the idea is, I have, the way I see these, is basically the events of Persona 5, but it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime.
I would take it.
And the idea is that in Joker's Awakening Point, he proceeds to, basically there's a card called Mask Release. If there's a deficit of 7,000 or more in life points between you and your opponent, you just cheat out a Persona monster from your extra deck and your main deck. And for Joker's moment, he proceeds to he cycles Arsene 3 times to create a Synchro, Xyz, and Fusion monster.
All right.
So Arsene is just meant to be one half of whatever it is you're trying to make. And I imagine that certain moments would result in Joker's teammates pulling out Arsene for themselves to make their own personas.
They've all got a fragment of their leaders and friends' influence with them at all times to help them reach their full potential. That's pretty in line with the whole theming of, I would argue, both Persona and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. They're all in the side deck because I just wanted them in the order they showed up in the game.
Alrighty. So I'm sorry, I need to go back to something. The last effect on Arsene is kind of sending me.
Okay.
So you declare a number between 1 and 4.
Yes.
And then Arsene becomes that level.
Yes, he does.
And then while his level equals his level, he's treated as a tuner.
while his level is equal to the number you declared, he's treated as a tuner.
Yeah, and the earlier part of the effect turns his level into the number you declared.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Basically, that way there's no like you modulate Arsene above 5 and he's still a tuner.
Okay. That's just a way to gatekeep out of doing all that. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Alrighty. So
now Zoro.
I gotta say, this is like the best out of all the designs for the personas. Like, I don't know if there's like objectively it's better, but I just love the big triangle shape it's got going on. They should have utilized this more.
Yeah, he's funny. So, this is where we look at the persona, just the general persona boss monsters. The general idea I wanted to establish is they all have with the exception of Necronomicon, because Necronomicon's weird. She acts differently from the other personas by virtue of being a navigator. So all of them have. I want to have an effect that occurs on their summon, and an effect an ignition effect. Most of the base forms will search a card as their ignition effect. As their summon effect, as their ignition effect, they will do something that is in line with the original archetype that they are supporting. As you can see, Morgana utilizes Phantom Thief cards, which would be a series of flip effect dark spellcasters. No, wind spellcasters.
All right, okay.
And also, as you notice, it says Phantom Thief Gadget.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
The Phantom Thief Gadgets are quick play cards that equip themselves to monsters. Because Phantom Thief is a flip effect, when a Phantom Thief flips face down, the gadgets flip face down as well, instead of being sent to the graveyard.
Okay, alright. That's a pretty good... Oh, and because they're quick play spells, you can just replay them kind of like... just to get them back on it. That...
Also, Morgana had to normal summon a card and ended up putting a better monster face down, flip the card he had to equip the gadgets to face down, flip the other card face up, and he can equip the cards to the better monster.
Alright, that's pretty nifty.
Yeah, and so they also screw with their opponent a lot, taking cards out of their hand, adding them to Morgana's hand, and looking at their opponent's deck, rearranging where cards are, looking at their opponent's extra deck, so that they know what's coming up. A bunch of stuff based around intel, and also Morgana utilizes a lot of Dia cards, which are just recursion.
Alrighty.
You know, the heal spells, stuff like that.
Gotta keep that topped up.
Right.
Now, does it actually heal any of your life points when you play them, or is it just getting cards back?
I imagine that the mass heal, the mass heals will restore life points. The single target heals recur monsters.
Okay, alright. Alright, move on. Time to move on to the next one?
Yep.
Alright, Persona Captain Kid.
Yep. The Thunder attribute Synchro monster. He's Captain Kid's generic. Eric, I imagine. Now, I feel like it's kind of easy to forget that Ryuji's whole thing is he's an athlete. And also, he's a pretty big eater. So Ryuji's deck is a bunch of Thunder athlete monsters that utilize athletes' feast cards to beef up their monsters, while also moving around their defense positions. Captain Kid on summon will find a Zeo card, which all the elemental attacks will have just basically a thing attached to them, and then are either targeted or sweeping removal.
All right.
Stronger ones hit larger amounts of monsters, but will cost life points. Something like Zeo is just destroy a level 4 monster on the field.
Folks, do not let Ryuji know about Raigeki. Do not give it to him. We cannot trust him with it. He will play 3.
Yeah, my Theodyne is maybe a Raigeki that costs 2,000 life points to activate. So, the Athlete's Feasts are basically played targeting thunder monsters you control to cause an effect. Which can change the monster's battle position or what have you. Increasing their attack, like this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, and Captain Kidd, well, he's... Speaking of Raigeki, Captain Kidd changes defense position to Raigeki your opponent.
Alright.
This defense position change can trigger Thunder Athlete effects in his hand, which can cause a number of things from special summoning a monster to enabling a different monster's effect, such as Thunder Athlete Cheerleader, which quick synchros
Ooh, alright.
when a monster changes battle position.
That seems pretty useful in your synchro
Yep.
deck.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Next, we have the Fusion monster.
Carmen. Alrighty.
You want to go ahead and read?
Yeah, Persona Carmen is a level 8 Pyro Fusion monster requiring 2 Pyro-type monsters as material, though Arsene doesn't seem to mind. If this card was special summoned by a card effect, you can add an Agi or Flaming Theater card from your deck to your hand. When the effect of a spell card you activate resolves, destroy 1 card except the activated spell card on the field, and this card can't attack the turn this effect is used.
So Carmen is... So the Flaming Theater is a fusion deck. They're utilizing just kind of similar aesthetics to Despia, but not as sinister and evil. The Flaming Theater, they utilize a lot of quick play effects, and Carmen is a center point for controlling the field, but you also have to be careful with Carmen. Because if you activate too many effects, Carmen will eventually have to blow herself up.
Ah, okay.
Because Carmen is mandatory. You must destroy a card. And you cannot destroy the card you activated.
And it doesn't look like it's once per turn either.
Right. It's mandatory whenever the heck Carmen activates.
Got it. Okay. Now, do the other Flaming Theater cards gain benefits if they're destroyed?
Flaming Theater, not necessarily, but they will trigger effects when a card is destroyed.
Oh.
And it generally won't care which side of the field it's destroyed from, as long as a card gets destroyed.
Alrighty.
Later, stronger version of Carmen will also have this ability, adding a burn, and then the third stage adds the burn and does not make Carmen mandatory.
Okay, so there's some good incentive to get all the way through the evolutionary line.
Yes.
Alrighty. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're going ahead. I'm just talking about Goemon.
Oh, you could say that we're going to Goemon?
Yep. So Goemon's at a weird point because I'm not exactly sure what I want Goemon to be, because I don't know what I want Yusuke's deck to be. Because a part of this is I want to wrap in who the Persona characters are. Morgana's a thief. The Phantom Thieves will work in with that. Ryuji's an athlete. His deck are athletes. An's big deal is she's an actor and she's a fashionista, so that works. And I can kind of get all these ideas, but Goemon, I don't know what I want from a painter deck. I feel like it should be spell based, but I don't know what those spells should do. I kind of like the idea of gaining advantage from continuous spells, a la Weather Painters, but not in the same way Weather Painters do.
Yeah,
you can see some ideas from Goemon from what you see here.
Yeah, my first thought was to like make copies of opponents' monsters, but then I started
I
thinking
wouldn't.
about the person who,
That's Madarame.
abused Yusuke's entire life and, copied his
I
mom's work, and I'm like, maybe we don't give him the copy ability.
maybe no. We could do a copy thing, but not in the same way Madarame do. Rather than it being an aggressive thing, you copy effects from your graveyard.
Oh, alright.
Because Yusuke does copy things. It's one of the main reasons you upgrade Yusuke's confidant. He can copy the effects of Kara of the ability cards you give him.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
he's
gonna have
gaining
to think.
inspiration from his fallen
Yes.
allies. Okay, there we go.
Basically copying effects from his graveyard, but then changing that to be changing basically like conditions like a card that on activated that requires a flaming theater monster now requires a spirit painter monster.
Oh.
I'd have to figure out what I want the effects to do from there, but it's a start.
Alrighty. It occurs to me that I haven't even read the effect yet. Do you want me to go ahead and read through that?
I mean, you can, but I don't, because I think after this, I'm going to begin on working out on expanding each of the other characters that aren't Joker, because Joker's just gonna have a bunch of different Persona monsters in his deck. I'm going to work on expanding them out. Goemon's going to probably receive a full errata when I make Yusuke's deck.
That makes sense.
Because I want the basically the idea is that when summoned in the story, when they're first summoned, it triggers a chain reaction that causes them to basically snowball into an avalanche of victory.
A real
Which is
showcase attack, if you will.
Right.
Alright, well, if that's the case, then we'll just move along to Johanna, the rank 6 Earth Machine.
Yeah. Right, I started out with Johanna. You can go ahead and read Johanna's effect. I think the on summon effect may change, but I think I like the idea of what I have going for the ignition effect.
Alrighty. It takes 2 or more level 6 machine-type monsters as material. If this card is Xyz summoned, destroy a number of monsters your opponent controls up to the number of material this card has, with a level lower than this card's rank. Okay, so level 5 or lower monsters, currently.
I was starting off with some inspiration from Infinitrack.
Makes sense. If this card declares an attack, you can negate that attack. Then you can detach an overlay unit to destroy the other monster. Oh, so if it's like bigger than Johanna, then you can just be all like, no thanks, negate, and
think Utopia, except instead of just negating, it blows up the monster.
Sick.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking around with that. I might change Johanna's on summon effect, but I kind of like where the secondary effect is added where it is. So.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the motorcycle trick where you just like do like a hard right and then like the thing that happens in that like shock wave of spinning the vehicle around just hits the creature. That's pretty cool.
I think, and I defaulted to Earth Machine because how do you translate nuke into Yu-Gi-Oh?
I think like maybe light for like radiation, but I think Earth is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next is Persona Necronomicon.
Yep.
It is a Link 3 Dark Cybers monster with 0 attack, requiring 2 or more Cybers effect monsters as material. If this card is Link summoned, you may move this card to a main monster zone you control. Spell and trap cards this card points to are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. While this card points to a face-down spell or trap card, your opponent can't target this card with attacks. Huh.
So of course Futaba's gonna have a Cybers deck.
Of course.
And of course she's gonna be a trap control deck.
Yeah, Futaba does have big Altergeist energy.
Right. And just Necronomicon is here to protect her trap cards, and Necronomicon protects itself by protecting her trap cards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So yeah, it's just a little different. It's here to support the thing that Futaba would be doing. I'm not fully sure where I'm going, where I want Futaba's monsters to be at, whether they be trap monsters or they be just little weak guys that are meant to link summon into Necronomicon and the further versions of Necronomicon.
Sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Any other info about this, or should we move on to Milady?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Then that leads us into the level 9 Earth Psychic monster Milady, requiring a plant tuner and a... Oh, I see what you did there. And one or more Psychic non-tuner monsters. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can add one Makarakarn or Tetrakarn trapped card from your deck to your hand, and if this card destroys a monster by battle or attacks your opponent directly, you may special summon a plant-type tuner from your grave in defense position.
Basically, it just searches. It'll search into it searches the counter traps which are basically the card versions of the two skills that at least I very heavily use from Haru. And I imagined a very defensive style with plant tuners and psychic non-tuners. The plant tuners being useful to bring out the high-level psychic gardeners.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of imagine it as before when you're going through Okumura's palace for the first time, Haru doesn't know how to pilot her deck. And it's at the point where when she fully awakens to Melody, she's had Melody in her extra deck already. The other people manifest their persona into their extra deck, but as Haru was already awakened to, but didn't fully understand how to use her persona, she doesn't understand how to use her deck either. So as soon as she brings out Melody and actually reads what Melody does, she understands what her deck is supposed to do. This super defensive but also hyper offensive deck. I kind of imagine it's Melody specifically. The whole summon back a plant tuner comes from Red Hot, our Archfiend Dragon, but there's also a lot of effects that are very similar to Super Heavy Samurai, with their assault from their defense position.
Okay.
This is how I want to represent the fact that Haru was a very powerful gun skill user.
And nothing says gun more than samurais.
Well, it's more of the assault from defense position as a non-moving attack.
That's fair. It is kind of like holding down the bunker and attacking from range kind of deal.
Yes. Yeah, very much. And Melody, if you count her defense as the attack, has the highest attack out of all the Persona monsters.
It's pretty big.
When her evolution comes into play at a 4,000 attack 4,000 defense monster, none of the other Personas, up until Satana shows up, match that defense stat in their offenses.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just... Yep. And here we have the imposter, Robin Hood.
Imposter? No, that's just Akechi's persona, a very good boy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to imagine, of course Akechi would be a chaos deck.
Of course.
And, he has to play up everything, so of course the ritual spell, Scales of Judgment. You want to go ahead and read it?
Yes. Real quick. Paleon Sky, thank you so much for following here, as well as Cafe Cow. Thank you for joining the Orbital platform.
Hello.
You will bear witness to Persona Robin Hood, a level... Oh, there's Corbinisms subscribing at tier 1. Thank you so much, Corbinisms. Anyway, now no one's gonna subscribe while I'm saying this one, all right? Don't do it. Okay, cool. Anyway, this is Persona Robin Hood, a level 8 light ritual fairy monster with 2000 attack and defense. Can be ritual summoned with Scales of Judgment. If this card was ritual summoned using an even number of light and dark attribute monsters, you can banish the same number of cards your opponent controls. During your main phase, you may banish 1 light and 1 dark monster in your graveyard to negate the effects of a monster your opponent controls, and then if you do, banish it. Alright.
Yep, heavy interference.
Now, when you say banish the same number of cards, do you mean the total number of monsters tributed, or the number that both of them matched at? Like,
So
if you tributed a light
theoretically-
and a dark, would you only banish 1 because there was both one of them, or would
You banish it equal to the number of cards used to ritual summon him.
Okay, so we're
So if you ritual summon him, you somehow using 4 monsters, you banish 4.
just so long as 2 of them were light and 2 of them were dark.
Yes, if you use 3 lights and 2 dark and 3 lights and a dark, no go.
Nothing. All right. Yeah, even outside of whatever deck this is meant to be for, I'm sure there's a funky little deck that would love to run this just for the removal option.
Ela.
All right. Is there anything about the archetype that it's supposed to come from that is exemplified here?
Oh, it's very much taking justice into your own hands kind of thing that Akechi's playing up when he shows up first. There's also I kind of imagine that because Akechi's trying to emulate the Phantom Thieves in a way, he has a deck that doesn't actually look like Robin Hood Belongs, which I imagine because he's the space boy kind of thing, and going is kind of this Star Wars-esque deck,
Gotcha.
riding that line of light and dark. Or trying to truly balance the two who being upholding justice in one hand, bringing about it in the other.
Ooh. Alrighty. Then I suppose that leaves us with this is the new person from Royal, right? This is theirs.
Yes, it is. This is Persona Slendrion.
I haven't played Royal yet. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Anyway, Sendrillin, Link 3, Fairy Monster, 3000 attack, requiring 2 or more effect monsters. While you control this phase up,
Ooh,
Link
that
summon
did not change. Why did that not change? It should say 2 fairy effect. I realized that could be a problem, and so I changed it to 2 fairy effect. I tried to, at least.
Got it, okay. So 2 fairy effect monsters. While you control this phase up Link summon monster, your opponent cannot activate cards during your battle phase. Alright. If this card declares an attack targeting an attack position monster your opponent controls, you may change that card to defense position. Then this card deals piercing battle damage until the end phase. Okay.
So I kind of imagine, because... Have you played Royal?
No, I haven't played Royal at all.
So,
I don't even think I know
basically-
anything about Kasumi's deal.
Kasumi shows up when you get Kasumi. She's just hyper offense. I think she has a couple status moves that are buffs, but she's just this constant offensive pressure. And she comes with Swords Dance, which has boosted crit rate. And so I wanted to represent this just hyper offensive, unrelenting monster, or in Sendrillon.
Well, I think you
and also
accomplished that.
the link arrow position is like, I don't know why, but I just kind of see that as this is just an offensive monster.
Yeah, there's also like some wild stuff going on with Kasumi, right? So
Yeah.
having this lack of symmetry in their link arrows kind of adds to that whole feeling, I feel.
Which I actually realize, bringing that into perspective, also, when you actually get to Sendrillon's, the Link 5 version of Sendrillon, it goes fully symmetrical.
Ah. So there we go. We've rounded out the character.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that is 9 Persona.
Yeah.
Is there anything we want to add before we move on to the Nova scale?
Nah.
Alrighty. So, novelty. This is an interesting situation that I'm in because these are all monsters of archetypes that I do not know.
Right.
And what they do ranges from being generally useful to being very specific to whatever theme they're from. So, novelty-wise, I'm putting a question mark right here.
Okay.
And we're going to move on to objectivity.
Right.
This is also a question mark because I don't know the full impact of like what getting a Makarakarn or Tetrakarn trap card would do.
Counter. So basically, Tetrakarn is a counter trap that negates monsters. Makarakarn is a counter trap that negates spell traps.
Okay, yeah. So
or I think it might be Makarakarn is because Makarakarn reflects spell magic damage. Tetrakarn reflects physical damage.
got it. Okay. So that focuses on that what that does, but then like I'm not sure what the extent of the athlete feasts are gonna do, what their whole range of effects are, and what Captain Kidd enables. So I think I'm gonna have to pass on that one for now too. Versatility, Arsene is pretty good, just like as a versatile little guy. Like your fusion, of course, isn't going to. The fusion kind of allows you to play things like Carmen and Goemon in other decks.
Right. Like then, you can fuse Carmen in Volcanics.
Yeah. And then all those good spells that you're using become removal, which is great.
Yep. Yeah. So Volcanic Runic gets just removal.
Exactly. And then its ability to become any level 1 to 4 tuner, or basically any matching Xyz material. I could see that being used in a lot of things, just as a good versatile card in and of itself. The rest of them,
putting Captain Kidd into a deck, maybe even if you're not searching anything off of him, he's still a Raigeki on legs.
That's still a Raigeki on legs. In a Machina Citadel kind of way.
Right.
Let's go ahead for versatility. Let's go ahead and put the 3 on there.
Okay.
There. Now, awesomeness. I don't got to put a question mark on this one. It's Persona. I love Persona. I think it's cool.
Yep.
Getting this snapshot of what all these disparate archetypes could do, it just makes me want to see more of them. The idea of a flip deck that has equip quick play spell cards is just so cool sounding on its face that I want to know more about it. So hopefully you'll be showing these off in future installments.
Depends on what days you're doing them.
That's true. These do
I
tend
have
to be
Wednesdays
monthly,
off.
So... Oh, sorry, say again?
I have Wednesdays off.
Ooh. Yeah, that might be a bit of a problem. Well, hopefully you can still send it and I can look at them elsewise, because that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, novelty, you know what? As a compromise between wanting to see more and not knowing more, I'm going to give them 3s all through here, and then we'll see how these fluctuate depending on the follow-up cards. So, this...
14's not bad.
Personas... They're getting a 14 on the Nova scale.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty. Anything else you would like to tell the audience or tell me before we move on to our next guest?
Well, I suppose based on your reaction, I will try to get on a work on Phantom Thief.
I think that would be awesome.
Will also include the card versions of each of the members of the protagonists.
Let's go. Let's go.
Because I kind of imagine that, like at the end, when Morgana remembers who he is, he also produces the card versions of each of the characters, which they then use, which are then very good at bringing out their third stage. They have fully realized themselves as Phantom Thieves, and as such have appeared in the cards, which I feel like at that point is revealed. Morgana's deck gains a new card whenever a new legendary thief emerges within the real world.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and now, of course, the versions of the each of the main characters won't really synergize with specifically the Phantom Thieves, they'll synergize with their own decks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Well, Almento, thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you next month. Okay.
Yep. Ciao.
Goemon as a tier fusion changed my mind. Incredible. How could you say something so controversial yet so brave? Anyway, we've got a couple of redeems to do before moving on to our next guest. Dinah Zenenkai paid 2,000 channel points. We are happy to announce that Robin Hood deserved better than Akechi. I don't know. I think it fits pretty well. I think it's pretty cool. And then Jerry paid 1,000 channel points to have Trihorn Dragon say, "People play Persona 5 Royal and date Makoto. Chads play P5R and date Kawakami." That's the teacher. Don't date the teacher. I don't know. I'm a dragon. I can do whatever I want. Okay, that's fair. But Makoto is the correct choice. All right, Buster, settle down. Okay, fine. All right, see you, bye. What a sweet kid. Alrighty. Thank you again to Almento. Let's check in with Corbin. I see that they have followed back with some info. Corbin, do you want to present this evening? No, we plan on going to Nationals in July. No, I don't have my invite. I couldn't get it. I wasn't good enough.
The answer is yes. I was busy having dinner.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, Corbin, how's it going?
Going all right. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling pretty good after seeing some Persona cards.
I am glad people like Persona and that people are willing to make custom cards of it.
Alrighty, so I haven't seen any of these cards yet. I haven't blown up their imagery yet, so we're about to get the immediate reaction.
Xyz last. Xyz last. Don't.
Oh, Xyz last. Okay.
The whole thing.
Okay, well then I'll start from the very end and work our way back.
That's fine. That's cool.
Okay. Torpedo Launcher Spider. Okay, alright. I'm already liking where this is starting. A level 7 water machine monster with 1,000 attack and 3,500 defense. If all monsters you control are machine or water monsters, minimum 1, you may discard a card to special summon this card from your hand. If your opponent activates a trap card, you may send the top card of your deck to the graveyard as a quick effect to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Alright, I'll take it.
I made reactors playable as launcher spiders.
Oh, well, with Seeker Launcher Spider, yeah, that appears to be the case. Oh wait, is this just the same thing for, what is it, spells?
Yeah, they're reactors, but launcher spiders.
You are so... Okay, so there's variable attack and defense power.
Yeah.
Torpedo is rightfully the strongest out of all of them.
Correct. 'Cause it's funnier.
Okay, so Torpedo is water machines, deals with trap cards. Seeker is earth machine, deals with spells. Arrow is wind machine and deals with monster effects.
Actually,
Oh.
Arrow is a little bit different because I didn't want to just do everything exactly the same. That would be dumb. I don't like copy-paste archetypes. I like there to be a little bit of oddity.
Oh, so in this one we... Oh, if a monster is special summoned, this can stop that.
Bounce it.
Whee!
Because, I don't know, it's funny, man.
Destruction effects? I don't think so. Go
No.
back to the hand.
None of you.
Are you from the extra deck? I don't care. Go to the hand.
As
Alright.
all good duelists know, it goes to the hand.
This leads us into Searing Launcher Spider, a rank 7 Fire Machine Xyz monster with 2,500 attack, 3,500 defense, requiring 3 level 7 monsters as material. I don't know any monster that requires 3 level 7s that could be a problem.
No, not at all.
This card gains the attributes of all monsters used as Xyz material for its Xyz summon. This card cannot be targeted by the effects of cards that share an attribute with it, or share a card type with a card in your graveyard. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, you may shuffle cards from your grave equal to that monster's level, rank, or link rating into your deck to destroy that monster, then deal damage to your opponent equal to the number of cards returned to the deck times 300, then change this card to attack position. That is a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but it makes it so you cannot wall up behind this thing.
Yeah, you do have to spend your ammunition to actually get anywhere with it. Still, that's incredible. So you could fill the deck with a bunch of differently typed monsters. You can play a variety of hand traps, and then incidentally just give Searing Launcher Spider protection against those monsters.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And you just discard them for cost if they aren't good in the matchup.
I dig it. I also like that we're bringing Launcher Spider into modern day. B4M Blast Spider, not good enough, Keith.
Nah, man, Why does that card... It makes me sad. It makes me very sad.
That is like the only card in the game that cares about what the stats of another card that destroys something is, right?
It's one of a very small handful if it's not alone.
Golly. Alrighty, well, is there anything else about the Launcher Spider series that you would like to talk about before we move on to the Nova Scale?
Yeah, this was literally birthed from, you can thank Pluto TV, because Alicia and I, in our free time, like at the end of the night when we're winding down, have just been watching the Yu-Gi-Oh channel, and it just plays through all of Duel Monsters front to back 24/7.
As just like a continual stream?
Yeah!
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I was reminiscing about cool monsters that I would really like to get retrains or get an archetype about them. I was like, wait a minute. Launcher Spider had a buildable model one time back in the early 2000s.
It's perfect!
It's fantastic! So let's build a better Launcher Spider with an archetype.
BBLS, build better Launcher Spiders, folks.
I hate how quickly you came up with that.
Hey, when you're on the campaign trail, you got to come up with slogans like that. I'm not on a campaign trail, so I don't know how I'm doing it, but that's just the thing that happens.
Oh, I thought that was why you were at MomoCon.
Yeah. If I was smart, I would have been going down there being all like, folks, a vote for Golden Nova Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a vote for bringing back Denglong. But unfortunately, I didn't have to make those promises because it just happened while I was there, so, you know.
That was weird, right? That was strange.
So
like, that whole
weird.
situation was weird.
Oh my gosh. Why? What? Okay, my hot take, I should have posted this or something so I could farm rage or something, but that feels actively disrespectful to every member of the community to post a ban list day of a huge event like that.
You know what? That's kind of why I love it.
You know, I'll guess I'll take your spiteful enjoyment of it in stride.
It's just like, y'all really had the chance to do the funniest thing and took it.
It'd be some kind of like, I don't know the specifics, but I hear that like older like Magic the Gathering tournaments had some of like the most outlandish like rules changes like at the event. We should bring that back.
Yeah, just like change how timing works in round 4.
Yes, missing the timing, we've gotten rid of that. If you have your Yang Zing cards ready, feel free to... Oh yeah, also Denglong is legal now for this event, so if you want to bring it in.
Yeah, just like go to your binder, see if you got one, slide it in. You can go to the judges and just update your deck list if you're running Yang Zing. We will let you do that, no fee or anything.
It's just fine, just whatever. Just do it.
Yeah, no, perfectly normal.
And then you bring in
Perfectly
Pegasus'
normal.
voice actor to be all like, alright, duelists. Are you ready to do your rounds
no.
in reverse? Ooh.
So, okay, second main. Draw at the end of your turn?
Yeah. All your standby phase triggers happen during the end of your turn.
What other game is that? Right. Age of Sigmar Champions.
Oh, wow. I have
At-
no idea what that is.
Okay, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions has you actually draw at the end of your turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird. It's kind of cool, though. The game flopped, but that's irrelevant.
Plenty of good games die on the vine, like Keyforge. That's not relevant.
Oh, don't get me started. I feel so bad for Keyforge.
God, like, that was just ramping up before COVID happened, right?
Yeah, it was just ramping up before COVID. It released in like mid to late 2018.
I went to one sanctioned tournament for that one, and that was probably the most fun event I've ever been to.
It's so cool! And then it was like, they hit COVID and it was like, okay, we can't really play. That's okay, we can still, like, wait for releases. And they got, like, 2 more releases out, and then their database got scrubbed.
No! The database was like 30% of the entire game!
Yeah! And it got scrubbed. I think it was, like, some begrudging employee who got fired. And he just took, like, a few minutes while he was cleaning his desk to fuck the database.
Ow, that hurts!
Yeah, so they've spent the last, like, year and a half rebuilding it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Once I heard the database was scrubbed, I was like, well, that's it.
All right.
Curtains.
Good job. Let's go home, everyone.
Pack it up.
Alright, well...
Speaking of packing it up, time for a Nova scale.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad we were on the same wavelength on that one. Good segue.
Very proud of it.
Alrighty, so, novelty. The last time I saw Launcher Spider was when I was going through my bulk, so I can't exactly say that any of this, is not without... Like, I would say, but it is based on the mechanics of another card set, and that card set is reactors, so it's a 5.
Yes!
Objectivity, I mean, I think it's all formatted correctly. And
I got as close as I could.
And I don't think that the reactor... I mean, it's easier to summon these monsters, obviously, but I don't think the reactor effects in and of themselves are gonna break the bank, so I think I have to say that this is a 5. Oh, we're in dangerous territory right now. Versatility, this can be run in any monotype, wind, water, or earth deck, or mono machines to give you free level 7 material. I guess free is a misnomer. You have to discard a card, but
Yeah,
that's
it's a 0.5 card.
That's just an invitation to opening up like an engine for something for like graveyard effects. So I think I have to give it a... It obviously can't work with everything, but I think I have to give it a 4. If only for the fact that if this worked with lights, darks, and fires, this would be just the easiest include.
That is exactly why I didn't do that. Truthfully.
And good on you. And then 5, it's Launcher Spider cards.
Who woke up this morning thinking, you know what, someone's gonna make fake Launcher Spider cards, and they're gonna be great. They're gonna be cool. I don't know who, I don't know what they're gonna look like, they don't even have any art, but they're Launcher Spiders and I like it.
The empty card art just means that we can fill it with whatever's in our imaginations.
Yeah, just think of, like, multi-terrain Launcher Spiders. Like, the little underwater one that has torpedoes on his back.
It's got little floaties on its big limbs.
Yeah.
So
Normal people things.
So I have to give the Launcher Spiders a 19 on the Nova scale.
Yes!
One of the highest scoring groupings of cards ever in the 3-month history of us doing this. Congratulations, Corbin. You came this close to a perfect score.
You realize this means next month I have to get a perfect score, no matter what I do.
Hey, you can aim for it as much as you want, buddy.
I am bringing my A game, and my V game, and my O game, and my N game.
Ooh. Those are all letters that I really identify with.
Yeah, it's Avon.
Yeah, and I love my makeup. Doi! Everyone knows that my job history before this was going door to door, be like, Avon calling. And I'm calling for blood! Alright. Thank you, Corbin. Is there anything you'd like to tell me or the audience before we move on to our next guest?
It's Pride Month, baby!
Let's go! I'm the part of Pride Month where you blur the letters out and just says demon. That's me.
Mood. I may not be in the thing, but I do my best as an ally.
And we salute you for your service.
Hooray. I also make launcher spiders, I guess, but that's neither here nor there.
Launcher spiders for Pride Month, folks. If
Check
there
out-
are cops at Pride,
how-
we break out the launcher spiders.
Notice how they are chromatic, though.
Oh, yeah, true. That's true. Blue.
Yeah, so check out Golden Nova Yu-Gi-Oh! On YouTube. The L stands for launcher spiders. Thank you.
Yeah! Yes! Yeah, LGBT. Launcher spiders. Geists.
No, launcher spiders get the bag. Come on, man.
You swap the you swap the letters around.
No, they're all there. That's what matters.
Okay, fair enough.
They are all there and equally represented, as they should be.
By getting that bag.
Let's go! Dab.
Dab, take care.
I should go before I waste more time.
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't call any of this wasted time. But take care.
See you later, dude. I'll be hanging out for a little bit.
Sounds good. I'll see you around.
Cool, man. Bye.
Oh, bye. Folks, that was stalwart of the channel and the Discord and just the Novaverse Corbinisms. Light of my life. I think that might be a bit too much, actually. I'm going to rescind that last one. Anyway, next up is Rebel King Lucifer. Let's pull up their cards right here. And I believe we've got ourselves a little reference to a little show. Boop. And it's called Kamen Rider.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Lucifer, how's it going?
Oh, it's quite all right. I'm here to cause chaos.
Hey, and you know what? We here at the Orbital Platform thank you for the chaos, for being just a huge role model for me personally. I just love standing up to authority whenever I can. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Lucifer.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, I try to be a good influence for all the good little boys and girls out there.
Alrighty, so let's get started with talking about the Contrast Heroes, a Kamen Rider W expansion. Do you have any prefaces or anything you would like to talk about before we get into the cards themselves?
Let's see. Not a whole lot, I guess. I guess for context, this is, well, I guess following up on the patterns with today's stream. This is a part of a fanfic I'm doing, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, no, this is it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kamen Rider crossover, so you can imagine how bonkers that will get. But these are some of the cards used by the main character, Yuta Ichidoji, who takes up the mantle of Kamen Rider Ace.
Ooh.
And alongside these, obviously, he uses Masked Heroes, because that is the de facto Kamen Rider reference.
Of course. Now, I'm seeing a lot of Contrast Hero in here. Do these also count as elemental heroes like Contrast Hero Chaos, or is that being left to the wayside?
The fusions specifically do, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, the main deck ones are mostly there to do some of the gimmicky shenanigans that I decided to give this, and then also, yeah, set up for the fusions. Otherwise, yeah, no, decided to keep that pattern. And I guess that's about it I have to say. Well, I guess one other thing. you'll probably notice I might have gone a little crazy with stuff. Not all of this has to be gone over because time's a factor. I just kind of took a chunk of stuff and put it in, and then due to procrastination, I forgot to trim things down a little bit more.
That makes sense. So what would you recommend? Like, what are some of the monsters that would be like the core components for the theme?
All right, let's see. I'd say pretty much the. Okay, I guess so. Plucky left and wise right are kind of the main ones, and then let me see. The first three fusions, and then I guess just whatever amongst the spells catches your fancy. Some of the change quick play spells for obvious reasons.
Alrighty. Well, then let's go ahead and get started with Contrast Hero Plucky Left, a level 4 Dark Warrior effect monster with 1800 attack and 1400 defense. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can look at a set card your opponent controls or one card in their hand at random, and you can discard a change quick play spell card to activate one of these effects. Either declare a card name, look at your opponent's hand and all face-down defense position monsters they control. If that card is among them, they must send all copies of it to the grave. Or special summon a Contrast Hero Wise Right from your hand or deck. Also, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except Contrast Hero monsters.
Yeah, so I guess right here I'll kind of make a note. Yeah, so this is basically the general idea that I went with is kind of spiral-esque in terms of your whole game plan is figuring out what your opponent has. But I decided to go the more hand control route because I don't know. It's not. I feel like hand control doesn't get a whole lot of love, mostly because we have certain war criminals that give it a bad image.
Yeah, we do live in this unfortunate space where like you're either teching in a single Aqua Dolphin to help deal with hand traps, or you are trying to make the most unfair Gothams board possible.
Yes.
There is no in between.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate, but hey. I figured figured it would fit at least flavor-wise with the whole idea. This is based off of Kamen Rider Double, where the whole motif there is the main character is a detective. So.
Okay, yeah, that scans. Alrighty, next we have Contrast Hero Wise Right, a level 4 Wind Warrior monster with 1200 attack and 1800 defense. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a hero monster, I wonder who will be doing that. You can look at your opponent's hand, then if your opponent has a card in their graveyard with the same name as any card in their hand, they must banish all copies of them but return them to the graveyard during the end phase. Okay. Still gets rid of them, though. If no cards are banished by this effect, your opponent draws a card. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by a spell effect, you can draw a card. Okay, so if you like change quick play it or fuse it away, you get a little buyback.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Let's move on to the first fusion, Contrast Hero Wind Trickster, a level 8 Wind Warrior fusion monster with 2500 attack and 2000 defense, requiring 2 Contrast Hero or Masked Hero monsters, as is always treated as an elemental hero. While face up on the field, this card is also a dark attribute. When this card is fusion summoned, you can add a change quick play spell from your deck to your hand. You can reveal a change quick play spell card in your hand and declare a card name. You look at your opponent's hand and all face down defense position monsters they control. If that card is among them, this card can make a second attack during the battle phase of this turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one non-wind Contrast Hero fusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it.
Yeah. Let me see. What can I say about this? I mean, he's essentially going to be the main guy of the archetype. A few things revolve around him specifically. Materials, shrug. I figured just broaden it a little bit because, yeah.
Yeah, now that we have more contrast heroes, it's a little less backbreaking than requiring just masked heroes as material.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the point of context also is for the purposes of the fanfic, I'm also adapting the main deck masked heroes because God only knows why Konami hasn't done that yet.
Every year I wait for like a special edition product to print the main deck masked heroes, and every year I am disappointed.
Yeah, I am one of Hero's strongest soldiers, so I'm right there with you.
On a scale of liquid to solid, what kind of soldier are you?
Let's see. Vapor Soldier, the one they haven't made yet.
Ah, right. Alright, well, before we pass any more gas, let's talk about Contrast Hero Burning Steel, a level 8 Fire Warrior fusion effect monster with 2300 attack and 3000 defense, requiring the same fusion materials, and is also treated as an elemental hero card. And while face up on the field, this card is also an Earth attribute. When this card is special summoned, you can target a monster you control, and during this turn, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. If this card battles an opponent's monster, you can have this card gain 500 attack and defense for each other card your opponent controls or is in their graveyard with the same name as their battling monster. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a non-fire contrast and special summon it. Oh, so you could like infinitely go between... You can only use it once per turn, but as long as you don't run up against that barrier, you can just switch between Wind Trickster and Burning Steel every turn.
Generally speaking, yeah. Now, all three of these fusions here will kind of have that same effect of they can float into one of the others.
Alright.
Yeah. Kind of playing off partially the general idea of how Masked Heroes are kind of meant to work, where you kind of do like funny battle tricks with them sometimes.
Alright.
Due to the nature of like mass change and all that being quick play, you can do battle phase shenanigans, but it's kind of playing off that idea loosely.
Alrighty, and then speaking of that third one, we have Contrast Hero Moonblast, a level 8 Light Warrior fusion effect monster with 2700 attack and 2100 defense, requiring the same materials as the last one, is also treated as an elemental hero card, and while face up on the field is a water attribute as well. This card can attack directly, but when it does so using this effect, its attack becomes 1800 during damage calculation. You can only use each of these following effects once per turn. As a quick effect, you can have this card lose exactly 1000 to activate one of these effects. Reveal a set card on the field to force its activation if it's a spell or trap card, then negate its effect if the activation time is incorrect, and if you do, destroy it. If it's a monster, change to attack position. It's Bait Doll! Yes!
Yes, Bait Doll.
Finally brought Bait Doll into the modern era!
We did it.
Okay. Or you can add a hero monster from your grave to your hand. If you want to be pedestrian. Or you could play Bait Doll! If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a non-light contrast hero fusion monster in your graveyard and special summon. Okay. Wait, can you use both of these effects in the same turn? Oh, no. We can't. We can only do one of these effects once per turn. The adding the hand in the set checking.
It's formatted weird, but yeah. That's it.
That's still pretty interesting, though, because you can go down to 1700, get your value, and then attack directly, and then regain your attack power.
Let's see here. Oh,
that's kind of funky. Alrighty.
Yeah.
So that's the fusions, the spells that catch my eye. Well, I already see one called Elementary, my dear, and I know they're a detective, so I gotta read what that one does.
Mm-hmm.
Continue a spell card. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Contrast Change Quick Play spell cards. Once per turn, if you control a Contrast hero, you can activate one of the following effects, or up to 2 if Skyscraper 3 Windy City is in a field zone. Either look at a set card your opponent controls or a random card in their hand, or target a Contrast Change Quick Play spell in your graveyard and add it to your hand, or declare a card name, look at your opponent's hand and all set cards they control, and if that card is among them, they must shuffle all copies of it into the deck, then you can draw a card. Okay. And that's once per turn. Incredible.
Yes.
Well, now I have to know what Windy City does. Windy City. When this card is activated, you can reveal a Contrast Hero monster in your hand, a special summon a Contrast Hero monster with a different name from your deck. If a hero monster other than a Contrast Hero monster is special summoned from the extra deck, you can send a Contrast Hero Wise Right or a Plucky Left from your hand, deck, and or field to the graveyard. To special summon a Wind Trickster from your extra deck or graveyard, this special summon is treated as a fusion summon from the extra deck, and for the rest of this turn you cannot special summon monsters except Contrast Hero or Masked Hero monsters.
And brief correction. Yeah, it's one wise right and one plucky left.
Oh, and not or. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wanted to make that clear.
No, yeah, that does recontextualize the idea of it.
Yeah.
It's like, why only one? What the heck? And I was wrong.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no,
All
it's
right,
you
I
like
think we
said
have time
one.
for one more of these. Is there anything here that we should read up on just to get a full understanding of the archetype?
Let's see. Let's see. I guess I'll just take a quick look here at the first contrast change here, and these are to get the idea. These are how do I put you kind of play these along the same in the same way that you play Magical Musketeer, the spells and traps, for example. They're meant to be funny things you do to help adventure your game state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're also supposed to be effectively they're supposed to be stand-ins for just making 10,000 more fusions. Because these are also just meant to represent all the other combinations of Common Rider doubles forms, because there's a lot of combinations.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Kamen Rider. In fact, you could say I don't watch any, but I've seen some of the clips, and the things they get up to that I've seen.
Oh boy.
Their costuming department must have a non-existent budget. They must have a blank check every season with some of that stuff.
Oh, I can only imagine.
All right, the first contrast change we have here is Silver Sky, a quick play spell card. Targets a face-up contrast hero monster you control, and this turn it gains 500 attack. Also, it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. If you control a contrast hero fusion monster while this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card. This turn, any monster that battles a contrast hero monster you control but is not destroyed by that battle is returned to the hand at the end of the damage step. Okay. Bouncing battle and attack power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So general idea is you'll let me see. I don't know. I should have probably included witchcraft or spells in that analogy as well, because the idea is you have the two different effects that you can just kind of choose between, and all of them will have a when you activate an effect, and then one that's in the graveyard that you can have for next turn to do more shenanigans.
Alrighty. And I do love me double value on me spells.
Yes.
Alright, well, that being said, I think it's time for the Nova scale. What do you think?
Yeah, let's it was a good old scale.
Alrighty, so novelty. We are building on top of the base that Elemental Hero built for us, or I guess heroes in general. But we're not doing the usual get a whole bunch of material, fuse them together to make big things that have grave effects that get us more things to make more big things. There's a big emphasis on learning things about what your opponent has at their disposal, which, like you said, we don't have a lot of hand control, and when we do have the hand control, it usually boils down to just being, now you don't have a hand anymore for me to control. So I think in regards to the focus and what I saw, the many ways that you take advantage of that knowledge, I think we'll do a 4 on novelty. Objectivity here. Is this balanced? Are they balanced? And are they formatted correctly? I don't see any issue with the problem-solving card text. You're using a lot of the bullet points to help tie in choices on a singular effect, which was a very good thing. A lot of people don't catch that. I think that the stats are pretty good. I think that the floating boss monsters are pretty powerful, but I don't know if that's game-breaking. If having a resource loop like that meant anything in modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, Burning Abyss would still be the best deck. It is the best deck, but I'm trying to, not have bad conversations right now with people who don't understand the power of PK Fire.
Understandable.
That being said, thank you. I appreciate your understanding. So I think objectivity here gets a 5. I don't think there's anything too egregious here. and I basically knew what most of the cards did just by reading them, which is a very important thing to convey. Sometimes there are cards that are just difficult to understand what they're meant to be doing unless you know how to properly format them. Versatility. Will they see play in a variety of decks? Now, this one I don't think they will, unless I'm missing something. These are very much going to be played in Hero if they're splashed into the broader Hero base. Otherwise, I feel like they're just going to be played as their own particular grouping of cards. Are there any outside synergies that I didn't pick up on that Contrast Heroes could do?
No, actually, to be perfectly honest, I did not make these with the intent of splashing them in like 10,000 different things. Like again, this is made for like a fanfic, so I went by anime logic, this sort of thing.
Hey, no,
Right. So
that's fair.
these weren't designed with being tech cards. No.
So yeah,
Unless
so
you're
that
just playing Hero.
so that means in this case, the Contrast Heroes will get a 1. That shouldn't be come across as like that's a failing grade or anything. Just in that particular section, they're not very versatile, but that doesn't mean they're bad.
Yeah.
And awesomeness, yeah, it's a common rider deck, and it doesn't just lean into cool transforming people doing awesome stunts with fireworks going on in the background. You actually leaned into the investigator section of it, which was a good decision. I think you conveyed it very well. So I think it was pretty well conveyed in the mechanics. So I'm giving this whole archetype a 15 on the Nova scale.
That's a lot better than I thought I would do on this first run.
Hey.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for showing these. Do you have anything you'd like to tell the audience or anything you'd like to talk about before we move on to our next guest?
Let's see. I guess for starters, yeah, I'll probably show off part 2 next month. And then let's see. One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Memento. My brother in Christ. I'm gunning for you. I may not be making Persona cards, but oh boy.
Oh.
You're approaching on my turf.
Cross-patron rivalry happening? I cannot condone this, because we're all a team here. But a friendly rivalry is one thing.
Yeah. All I'm saying is maybe expect some sort of Shin Megami Tensei cards in the distant future.
Ooh. I can't wait for the Masakato card where I have to lose the game to use its entire effect.
Dang, you already figured it out. Well, back to the drawing board.
That's why I'm hosting it, because I got the brains for them. I know these things. All right. Thank you so much again, Lucifer. Have yourself a good one, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Blitz, I can't condone this, but I can encourage this. That is it. That's it. That sums it up. I did do a redeem earlier. Oh, okay. Well, now is the perfect time to get that redeem fulfilled. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Zaldreka paid 2,000 channel points for this orbital platform announcement. This is an announcement for Nova to play Xenoblade. I already have 4 additional archetypes made that are references to those games, and I want to show you them. Well, you know what? I will play more Xenoblade games, once I, you've already heard the shtick. You already know that I gotta do stuff to make time to play those big old games. Those big old Blimbler games. Oh, and there was some... these were yesterday, so we got that taken care of. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I got it. I did it. I'm a master. Solve in real life first. I'll do my best. I'll do it for all of you. We'll add another streaming day, which is also not Yu-Gi-Oh based, where I will play another game, and it will be Xenoblade Chronicles X. I fooled all of you. I'm gonna play X first before I play 2. Alrighty. Next up on our list, we have Blue Gem, who did get their cards in. See here real quick. Let me see if I can access this document first real quickly. Okay, good. We do have access. Let me go ahead and get that over there. And get this back over here. Alrighty. Okay, Blue Gem, if you are here, you should have access to the special guest comms in the orbital platform. Oh, there you are. You're in standby. So yeah, once you're ready, please head over to guest comms and we will get started. Hey, Blue Gem, how's it going?
I didn't know if you were gonna like pull me in or not. Do not scroll down.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I want to save. There's a second card like on the second page, and I'm going to save that for last. If you are gonna scroll down until you see the attack and defense of it.
Oh, no worries. I scrolled back up to the top. I'm not looking at the screen anymore.
All right. So we're gonna go down here. Do you want to read it or should I read it?
Oh, the one I wasn't supposed to look at?
No, all of them.
Oh, okay. No, I can go ahead and read these.
All right, then.
Do you want me to stop after each one to talk about something, or just want me to go through all these real quick?
I am just gonna talk about one thing real quick. This is more to support how I play Ignisters, which is just spam them constantly, even once I get the big guy on the field.
Hell yeah. Alrighty, well then let's get started with Ignister Island Ferris Wheel, a continuous spell card. You can only activate Island while you have 3 or more monsters in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can destroy an Ad Ignister monster you control, then special summon an Ad Ignister monster from your graveyard with a different attribute. So it's literally a Ferris wheel cycling them in and
out. Yes.
That's awesome.
I was going to actually explain that, so...
No, I see where you're going with this. I'm picking up.
Yeah. And also the card would just be like a bunch of eyes on a big Ferris wheel. All right,
next is Ignister.
Oh, no. Read the last part. Read the last part. There was a part after that. You can only control one Ignister Island Ferris wheel.
Oh, okay. So we have a one.
So
control. Okay.
So yeah, I'm smarter than that. I know what kind of weird stuff you could do with that. Trust me.
Okay, good.
All right. Next.
Okay, next is Ignister Island Coaster, a normal spell card. Special summon 2 Ad Ignister monsters from your deck with different attributes, but negate their effects and banish them when they leave the field. You can only use the effect of Ignister Island Coaster once per turn.
Yep.
Okay,
it's
so
a normal
visually,
spell
how is this next to a coaster?
I did not come up with one for coaster, but like
Okay.
imagine like the 2 eyes from I Love Fusion, but just like you know that one, the one where it was like, yeah, just both of them.
Everyone
on
at home, do your
coaster.
best I Love Fusion pose real quick. Just do it with me. Huh?
I'm doing it. You can't see me, but I'm doing it.
I know that you all did that because A, I asked you, and B, because I can feel the spirit of the love that a cyber feels for a trauma child.
Yep, that is. All right. Last of the spells and traps. I actually want to. Actually, you read it. I'll read the last one.
All right, Ignister Island Front Gate is a continuous trap card. You can only activate this card if you control 3 or more monsters with different attributes. Each player can only control 1 monster of each attribute. If a player controls 2 or more monsters of the same attribute, they must send some to the graveyard so they control no more than 1 of that attribute. So you've printed there can be only 1 for attributes.
Yes, I always wanted that. That's something that I wanted. I don't care.
Haters, you're not coming through the gate. You are all dark attributes. You're all haters.
Oh, and also
the
the one with this one. Same concept of the I Love Fusion, but it's actual eye getting blocked at the front gate.
Okay, who's at the front gate blocking him?
It's just gonna be like a code talker or something.
Nice. And Code Talker is like, I don't think so.
Yes, it's going to specifically be Code Talker.
We've already got Decode Talker in there. That's our dark quota. You ain't stepping in here.
Speaking of dark quota, next one is actually our first monster.
The light toddler. Oh my god,
Well, dark infant, light toddler. I don't care.
Oh, I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming them for introducing Dark Infant as another infant-coded card that is just used as material for something, whether you're linking up with it or blowing it up for your dynasty.
Yep.
All right, I believe you said you wanted to talk about this one?
No, I want to talk about the last card.
Last one, okay.
After this one. Also, give a different Nova scale for these ones.
For all 5 of them, or just like the last
for
one?
All 4 of these, ones, and then a different one for the last card.
Okay. All right, so Light Toddler Adignister is a Link 1 Light Cybers monster with 500 attack, with a middle right arrow.
The opposite of Dark Infant, essentially.
Makes sense. Requires any non-Link Adignister monster. If this card is Link summoned, you can add an I continuous spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And when a Cybers monster with 2300 original attack activates its effect as a quick effect, you can move this card to your main monster zone this card points to. Then you can change it to any attribute until the end of this turn.
Okay, I wanted to talk about this one because it was one of my biggest pet peeves when playing Ignister.
Uh-huh.
It is practically a going first deck. It is a going first deck because you cannot control what extra monster zone your opponent puts their monster in. And in order to get out, and the easiest way to get out the big 6k, the arrival, you need to have specifically from where you're facing the right extra monster zone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's it. And sometimes it gets taken.
So this helps fix that?
This helps fix that, yeah. And also, yeah, it just kind of does that. All right.
Alrighty, so
Nova scale for these 4.
Okay, we're gonna do that first. Okay, so yeah. Nova scale. Novelty. Have we seen these cards before? Well, we're already starting from the fact that these are Ignister support cards, so we're already on the low scale of this one.
Yeah, I don't care about that one.
Yeah,
that's like.
Aside from the ability of Front Gate to cause war crimes, these are support cards for things that we've seen in other areas, so it's not like a new spin on Adignister. It just facilitates certain lines of play. So we're getting a 1 on novelty on this one.
That's fine. I don't care. That's like a 1 or a 5 on novelty is fine.
All right, objectivity. Our templating seems good. I don't see any problems with that. You've made sure to add some appropriate restrictions on how to use some of these cards so that we're not just spamming them over and over again. And the effects themselves are helpful, but I don't think they're overly powerful, so I think we can do a 5 on objectivity.
Okay.
Versatility. Because of how much cyber stuff you can do, I'm going to bump it up from a 1 to a 2 just because of all the wacky other incidental stuff you can be doing with the deck, or with Cyberses in general.
Okay.
And awesomeness, you know I'm putting a 5.
You put it at a 5! I know, putting it at a 5! Alright.
So let's do the 13. We got a 13 on your Adignister.
I'm going to just simply show you the first part before even showing you the effect of the last one. So scroll down to the second page.
Okay, I'm slowly scrolling.
Okay, no, I made it white, so don't worry.
Okay. Oh no,
I made it white, so don't worry.
Okay, there.
Don't worry. So I'm gonna read this one. Okay. Cyber's Last Stand Adignister, a divine Cyber's Link effect monster with question mark attack and Link 8. That is simply there because honestly, I loved how Ignisters were the only Link 6. And of course, 3+ monsters with different attributes. Now, that was mainly the part I wanted to read. If you want to read the rest of the effect, feel free. But if you want me to, I will.
Alright. You can only control one the arrival cybers.
Oh, damn it, I thought I changed that. Hold on.
This is supposed to be the last stand.
Yes.
Okay.
There.
You can control one the last stand at Ignister. Okay, we've got it fixed.
Cyber's last stand at Ignister.
The
2 hours, don't worry.
original attack of this card becomes 1,000 times the number of link material used for its link summon. If the arrival cybers at Ignister was used...
That one's supposed to be that.
Okay, this one's good.
That one's supposed to be that. It's special. Don't worry.
If the arrival cybers at Ignister was used for this link summon, this card gains attack equal to its attack when it was on the field. Oh my goodness. Unaffected by other cards' effects, once per turn you can target one other monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, special summon...
Oh, wait, hold on. I meant to put this... I meant to put this a bit earlier. I did kind of change this a bit before this, so I'm sorry.
Oh, and can't be tributed, so we can't kaiju it. Okay.
Yeah, you can't kaiju it. Just solve that problem.
Okay, once per turn you can target one other monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, special summon an Ad Ignister monster with 2300 attack to your zone this card points to. Where do we summon it from?
You summon it from... summon it from the graveyard. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we're talking about the graveyard. And when you special summon this monster, you can't summon monsters from the extra for the rest of the duel.
It is meant to be your last chance to do something.
It is the last stand, so it is appropriate.
Yeah, and also the card art would be like that new Hero Fusion card, the one in Maze of Memories. I forget its name. The Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. It's meant to be that, right, but with all the 2300 adding Mr. Monsters.
Right, so it's more of like a grouping of monsters rather than just the monster itself.
Yep.
Okay, alright. Wake up your elemental cybers.
Wake up your adding Mr. Alright. Separate Nova scale for this one.
Okay, so, novelty. This is the upgraded version, I feel.
Of the Arrival.
Of Arrival.
Yes, it is.
So, it's just kind of based on that one. Objectivity. Now, this is where things get wild. Because
I would actually be happy if this got a 1, because I would die laughing because this thing is so broken.
Yeah, cause there's the thing, right? There was an out to the Arrival with kaijus. You cannot do that now.
Also, the only way to summon this... Okay, the maximum attack this can get, 8,000.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure that it is specifically 8,000, because, again, the part where it says it would gain the Arrival's attack, you could use, you could use all 6 materials for that, and then summon 2 more monsters, and then link it off for a big final 8,000 attack beat stick. That is also unaffected by anything.
I guess, yeah, now that I do the math like that, yeah, you couldn't really do it any other way. So yeah, I guess 8,000. That's pretty big. But there is ways to fight. But there is ways to fight that. Actually,
ways to fight that. Yes.
Literally, Utopia beats this.
Yes, I just wanted it to not be able to be tributed. And also, how many people are really playing Utopia?
No, you're bringing up what I'm thinking right now. It's like technically there are still outs here.
Technically there are still outs, but it's like
more difficult to access while being ready for other cards and other decks in the format.
Yep.
I'm giving it a 3 on objectivity on this one. So we're purely for power level reasons. This is getting a little
purely for power level reasons.
Versatility is also going down to 1. I don't think any other deck is capable.
If that didn't get a 1, I would have been shocked.
But it's still getting a 5 on awesomeness, baby. We got the Divine Cypress. This is a 10 on the Nova scale.
It is a 10. Yes, I thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me show you my dumbass Ignister, or my dumb Ignisters.
And thank you for showing them off. These were great.
This is my favorite deck of all time. So
hell yeah.
I play it in real life, actually.
Good. Embrace their power.
I do.
Good.
Oh no, I'm getting dragged back into the cyber. Oh no, no!
They're mine now. I was the Cypress the whole time. All right, there we go. Let me get this list pulled back up here. Blue Gem, thank you once again. We have 2 left. We have 2 left today. Next up is Sir Knight JCB. And Sir Knight said that they might not be able to join us, but they have the list. They have the special role. So if they want to join in, Sir Knight, if you become available, please feel free to join in at any point, and we can talk about your lovely, lovely cards. Just want to say, good on you, Nova, for uploading the VODs. Yeah, I'm honestly proud of myself for remembering. Hopefully, I can keep with this in the future, because that's one of the things that I got to get better at, is making sure I upload the VODs for this. Hey, glad you stopped by, Skybuster. I'm glad you could watch this. In fact, yours will be right after this one. Okay, so let me double check the Discord real quick, in case I'm missing anything. It doesn't look like it. Okay, let's get started with okay, Ravenous Shark, a level 5 water fish monster with 2300 attack and 1500 defense. You can target an Umi or a monster that mentions it from your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and if you use special summon this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a monster effect or a trap card or effect, while Umi is on the field, you can negate the effect, then this card can make a second attack in each battle phase this turn. Created by Drowsy Fox on Discord. Drowsy Fox, thank you for making this. This is pretty nifty. Okay, so this feels like it's a counterpart to Electric Jellyfish, but works on a different axis to give us more attacks as opposed to increasing our attack power. And it has that same kind of special summoning. A similar-ish, whereas Electric Jellyfish sends from deck to graveyard, this shuffles it back. Though if you have a Legendary Ocean on board, you can just normal summon this and it's even bigger. So that's like 2 prongs of how to summon it, which I think is pretty good. Kairyushin's Deep Calling is a equip spell card. It targets a monster that specifically lists Umi in its text in your graveyard or that is banished and special summons it. If you control Umi, when you activate this card, you can target a water monster instead. If this card leaves the field, destroy this card. If this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. While Umi is on the field, this card cannot be targeted by card effects. Alright. I like that it has a little extra bonus effect to keep it safe so you don't just automatically deal with the monster by having spell or trap removal. And it's scalable revival. Hey, Zaldreka, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a good one. Take care. Okay, Karma of Kairyushin, a quick play spell card. Targets a monster your opponent controls, then declare an attribute. Until the end of this turn, its attribute becomes the declared attribute. If Umi is on the field when this card is activated, you can target any number of monsters your opponent controls instead. Wow, so under Ocean Dragon Lord, this is a board wipe for everything except one card. Zachiel's Silver Bullet. Okay, we are stepping away from Umi control. We're doing some magic-y stuff. Banish a random card in your opponent's hand or extra deck, and if you do, its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects of cards with the same original name as that banished card until the end of this turn. If your opponent revealed a card in their hand or extra deck this turn, you get to choose the card instead. You can only use, and it's literally called Silver Bullet, so it's literally like a silver bullet solving. Oh, incredible. Okay, so it's not even a magical musket card. It is anything. Huh. I wonder, so if your opponent does okay, I see what's going on here. So if your opponent plays something like Fusion Deployment or something and reveals a fusion monster like Grand Guignol out of their extra deck to just get a Cartesia on board. Now they've revealed a card in their extra deck, so now you can look at those zones and banish the card. That's kind of silly. Muramasa, the Wandering Bamboo Swordsmith. Level 4 Earth Warrior monster. This card gains 250 attack and defense for each bamboo sword spell on the field. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can special summon this card from your hand by revealing a bamboo sword spell card in your hand. If this card is special summoned by this effect, you can add a bamboo sword spell with a different name than the revealed card from your deck or grave to your hand. If this card was destroyed by a battle or card effect, draw a card. Okay. All of the bamboo deep draw decks are very happy with this card. Especially because you kind of want to have, like, if you have golden... No, like, literally, like, any of the continuous spell ones, you just go, okay, reveal, grab golden bamboo sword, and if you have golden bamboo sword, you just get any of the other ones that let you play golden bamboo sword. Wow, this card is busted. It's, play enough bamboo swords, and this is basically just a draw engine for your deck. Muramasa, the Awakened Bamboo Swordsman, is a level 8 Earth Warrior monster with 2500 attack and defense. Okay, so this is supposed to be the same person. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned by attributing a Muramasa, the Wandering Bamboo Swordsmith, you control, while you control a bamboo sword spell. Cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This card gains 500 attack for each bamboo sword spell on the field. If this card is special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. Target up to 3 bamboo sword spells with different names in your graveyard and set those targets. Target up to 2 bamboo sword spells in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck if you draw a card, or add a bamboo sword spell from your graveyard to your hand. I feel like you're always doing the first one, though, right? Like, you reset a golden sword, you reset, like, what, the cursed one that searches you a card when it leaves the field, and then literally any other one, and then you just draw more cards with this. This is funky. This is amazing. Showdown for the Ultimate Bamboo Sword is a field spell card. When this card is activated, while you control a Muramasa, the Wandering Bamboo Swordsmith, you can add a Muramasa, the Awakened Bamboo Swordsman, from your deck to your hand. If a Bamboo Sword spell card was sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle into the deck, and if you do, draw a card. If the Ultimate Finalized Bamboo Sword Masamune equip spell was sent from the field to the graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points, add it to your hand during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish a bamboo sword spell from your graveyard to shuffle this card into the deck to draw a card. Holy Toledo. Insert fake go noises. Unlimited bamboo. I am a blade with edge and no edge. I have killed all that I have saved, trained all that I have laid low. With this wood that is steel, I cut you down. Infinite bamboo works. Alright, here it is. The Ultimate Finalized Bamboo Sword Masamune is an equip spell that you can equip only to a Muramasa monster. If the equipped monster attacks, your opponent can't activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. After damage calculation, banish that opponent's monster. If the equipped monster's original name is Muramasa, the Awakened Bamboo Swordsman, it gains these effects. Yeah, you can only use these effects per turn. As a quick effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and up to 2 cards. You can target one card you control and up to 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. And if a bamboo sword spell you control was destroyed by a card effect, you can add a bamboo sword spell with the same name as the destroyed card from your deck to your hand. Oof. Okay, Torrential Bamboo Sword. If you activate a bamboo sword card while this card is already face up in the spell and trap zone, you can skip your opponent's next standby phase. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. The Bamboo Sword Unleashed. If you control a monster equipped with a Broken Bamboo Sword when this card is activated, target one of those monsters until the end of this turn. While it's equipped with a Bamboo Sword equipped spell, that monster gains 2,000 attack for each Bamboo Sword equipped spell equipped to it, and it can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. At the end of the turn this card was activated, send all Bamboo Sword spells you control to the graveyard. Then draw a card for each card sent. Alrighty. Let's take a look at these extra deck monsters real quick. We have Xyz Rule, Numbers Rule, a continuous spell card. Number Xyz monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's monster effects except by a number Xyz monster. Each time a number exceeds monster with a different name than monsters you control is exceeds summoned, you can draw a card, but you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect except exceeds monsters. Now that first part is just the anime effects of numbers, and I guess you can have that with Number Wall. Is the drawing effect part of the anime too? Is that just like a random thing? Earthbound Immortal Takeover is a continuous spell card. When this card is activated, you can activate an Earthbound Geoglyph directly from your deck. While Earthbound Geoglyph is in the field zone, Earthbound Immortal monsters you control become unaffected by your opponent's spell and trap cards and effects. The Earthbound Immortal monster effect, there can only be one face-up Earthbound Immortal monster on the field with the same name. There can only be one face-up on the field, becomes there can only be one face-up Earthbound Immortal monster on the field with the same name. Okay, so it does kind of the Malefic thing. During your main phase, you can normal summon an Earthbound Immortal monster without a tribute in addition to your normal summon or set. Okay. I think we found the card that fixes the deck. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Grace from Above is a spell card. Excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. Then, if there is a light monster among those cards, add 1 excavated card to your hand. And if you do, send the rest to the graveyard. Also, until the end of this turn, the effects of monsters sent to the graveyard by this effect are negated, as well as the activated effects and effects on the field that share the same original name as any of those sent cards, except for light monsters. Otherwise, banish those excavated cards face down. I don't know what deck this is meant to be for specifically, but if you're a light deck, I guess you want to play this in Lightsworns because it doesn't include light monsters in any of that stuff, so you can still get all their graveyard effects. So there's that. Tri-Pronged Assault. Here we go. These are the reference cards. Target 3 other cards you control and 2 cards your opponent controls. Destroy them. If this set card in its owner's control has left the field because of an opponent's effect and is now in the graveyard or banished, and your opponent controls more than 3 cards, they must send cards they control to the graveyard so that they control only 3. Wait, okay, I gotta reread this. If this set card, owner's control, has left the field because of... Noah Jenk, thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime for 16 months! Wow! The Twitch chat has been destroyed by their effect. Incredible! So card under control has left the field because of an opponent's effect and is now going to vanish, and your opponent controls... Oh, okay, so it has like a Waking the Dragon clause that puts them down to 3 cards. Okay. Apophis, the Impending Doomsday, is a level 12 dark rock monster with 600 attack and 3000 defense. I wonder if that's some kind of rock that exists. During the main phase, if this card is in your hand as a quick effect, you can activate this effect. Place this card from your hand to your field zone. While this face-up card is in your field zone, it's treated as a field spell. Also, you cannot activate or set other field spells. Neither player can destroy this card with card effects. Each time a monster is normal or special summoned, place a Doomsday counter on this card. If this face-up card in the field zone has 30 Doomsday counters, the player that summoned a monster loses the duel. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll take it. That's great. I love it. Alternate lose condition. Go ahead. Summon 30 times in a single duel. I dare you. Get up to 29 summons and then dare your opponent to do anything. Okay, next up we have Big World, not Small World. This is Big World. A normal spell card that reveals a spell or trap card in your hand. Choose a spell or trap card from your deck that has exactly one of the card types: spell, trap, normal, ritual, continuous, quick play, field, counter, and banish the revealed card from your hand face down. Then add from the deck to your hand a spell or trap card that has exactly one of the card types: spell, trap, normal, ritual, continuous, quick play, field, counter, as the spell or trap chosen from your deck, and banish the card chosen from the deck face down. Now, this is a meme card. This is a meme card. Sir Knight is cooking. We shouldn't have let them cook, but they're cooking. Big fan of the Russian roulette with a field spell monster. There we go. Okay, last card. Cloudy with a chance of swords. Normal trap card. Reveal a Swords of Revealing Light and a Weather Report in your hand or deck. Activate your Swords of Revealing Light to your opponent's side of the field, then set your weather report on your side of the field, and if you do, apply this effect depending on whose turn it is. If it's your turn, a weather report set by this effect can be flipped face up this turn, or your opponent's. Once during this turn, all monsters your opponent currently controls must attack a set monster you control if able. So, this was meant specifically to trigger Weather Report's triple battle phase effect. Who here is familiar with Weather Report? Raise your hand if you have heard what this card is supposed to be referencing. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to show all of you. Because I got a feeling some of you have no clue what in the world is going on here. And I need to educate you. So, some of you might be going like, oh, Weather Report, like the JoJo character, to which I would say this is the wrong custom place for you. If you want to do custom stand reviews, go bother X-Forts or Haman Beat or something. And then when you do that, tell them Golden Nova sent you so that they know who to be annoyed at. Okay, Weather Report. Okay, check this out. Destroy all opponents' face-up Swords of Revealing Light on the field. If Swords of Revealing Light is destroyed, you can perform your battle phase twice this turn, or your next turn if activated during your opponent's turn. What if we want to bother you though? You can certainly you can certainly try, and you might succeed a lot because you know. I know a little bit of JoJo stuff, but that's what Cloudy with a Chance of Swords is meant to accomplish. What if that's the meme? It's a pretty good meme. Weather Report. Your opponent can activate evenly matched more than once this turn. The funny thing is, you don't need an effect for that. They can just do that. I love that card. This is great. Okay, so we have several cards here, and I will be adding like 20 minutes trying to do a Nova scale for all of these, so I'm going to try to factor all of these into the Nova scale today. Now, everything that we've seen today has been a reference or tied in specifically to some other archetype. So, novelty, I don't know if I can give a big score to it, but they're definitely trying to do very funny things with the cards they're introducing. So, I'm going to give a 3 just for the sheer gumption of some of these effects. So, we're getting a 3 on this one. Who is using evenly matched more than once in a turn anyway? Whenever your opponent has a Barone, and you use the first one and they negate it. Then you hit him with the second one. Because you're just that good. Okay, objectivity. Are these cards balanced? I'm going to go out on a limb here and just give this a 2. Now, my reasoning here is largely centered on the bamboo sword cards here. So many of these enable just the deepest, drawingest bamboo sword draw engine with golden I've ever seen in my entire life. And while I'm no hater of gold, I have to put my foot down at some point. The shenanigans you can get up to with Muramasa effectively re-gifting you 3 bamboo sword spells whenever you summon them is outrageous. And because you can draw so much in this archetype, you don't have to worry about having mismatched pieces, because as long as you have the draw part, you're going into them. So that's getting it too. Versatility, I'll go ahead and give this a 3 because there's such a variety of different archetypes being represented here. And then you have things like Grace from Above, which we'll work with. I would argue any light deck. Big World would, of course, be used in any deck that could follow those particularly funny requirements. So we'll give it a 3. And then for awesomeness, we'll give it a 5. I know I very rarely give out anything that's not a 5, but like, look at this. Look at the Nibiru Monster Field spell. Look at a card called Silver Bullet that's literally a silver bullet answer to a whole bunch of stuff. I gotta give it a 5. This is a 13 on the Nova scale for all of these. Big variant energy going wild with all of these cards. I love it. So it's a 13 for these ones. Bamboo Exodia FTK. I could see it. I could see it with this stuff. The only awesomeness is guaranteed to not be a 5 is Ojama. True. True. Alright, Blue Gem paid 2,000 channel points for this message. Help! I'm trapped in the platform's computer, and I'm worried that the despots will find me as a virus. Help me, and fast, before they find me. I mean, I don't know how to help. I don't got that kind of ability. I'm not that gifted. Alrighty, so that's that one. Let's go ahead and move on to our last contestant here. Skybuster Leo has some cards to show off here. Now I believe they are in chat here, and I didn't get them the role, special guest role, I don't think, because I believe they said that they weren't going to join. Let me go ahead and get that added in there just in case. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Skybuster Leo, if you would like to join, please feel free to enter into the Novascape. But until such times as that comes to pass, we shall now remove this screen and look at this other screen that we have.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, speak of the lion themselves. Hey, Skybuster, how's it going?
So far so good. I'm glad I was able to join today.
And I'm glad you're able to as well. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Thankfully the car that was going off outside of my apartment was thankfully quieted.
Oh, yeah, that would be a little rude if it had kept doing its thing like that.
Just a wee bit.
Alrighty, so I'm seeing that you've brought the Warden cards today. Is there anything that you would like to share with me and the audience before we get started?
Well, the main thing I wanted to do with this archetype was something that I had been wanting to see from Pendulums for a long time, and that's pendulum monsters that are based around that have 2 different scales that are printed on the cards. Granted, these cards don't do that, but they play around with changing the numbers.
Alrighty, okay.
As well as a small bit of a well, I say small, but pretty heavy banish theme as well.
Alright, well, then shall we get started with Jasper?
Well, by all means.
Alright. Warden Legacy Jasper is a level 5 Wind Psychic Pendulum monster with a scale of 4, rocking 2100 attack and 3000 defense. As a pendulum scale, if you have a Warden Pendulum monster card in your pendulum scale, you may change one pendulum scale on this card. Oh no, I did the bad. I didn't get it prepared to look left and right. Oh no. 1 second. I can fix this, I think.
My apologies. I thought that I had that formatted.
No, I said I would get it fixed, and I didn't do it correctly. That's on me. 1 second though. I know what to do. Window capture. Bum 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 bum. Cardboard pad. Warden. Boom. Let's bring you up here and expand this. It's not a Nova stream without a little bit of scuff. By Thunder.
There we go.
Yeah, that's right there. And then let's go ahead and... Alright, we've got the word wrapping on this one. I believe I've also ejected the Nova scale. Nope, the Nova scale is right there. We're safe. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Whoop. Whoop. Thank you for your patience on this. I'm so sorry.
Oh, nah, it's not. It's not a problem.
Okay, so if you have a Warden Pendulum monster card in your Pendulum scale, you can change one Pendulum scale on this card to a number between 1 through 9. Also, you can't special summon non-Warden monsters except from the extra deck. As a monster card, if you control a Pendulum monster card with a Pendulum scale of 2 different numbers, you may special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can add a Temporal Manipulation card from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card leaves the field, banish it instead. Next up is Warden Mentor Dareth. Dareth. I think it's Dareth. Is it Dareth?
Yes, it's Dareth.
Dareth, thank you. A level 8 Earth Beast Warrior Pendulum monster with a scale of 4, rocking 2400 attack and 0 defense. As a Pendulum spell, if you have a Warden Pendulum monster card in your Pendulum scale, you can change one scale on this card from number between 1 to 9. Do they all have that effect as a Pendulum?
I believe all the main decks have the same pendulum effect.
Okay, cool. So we have a great way to manipulate our scales for that. As a monster, if you control a Pendulum monster card with a scale of 2 different numbers, you can special summon this card from your hand, and during your main phase, you can add a Warden monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, so Jasper gets his Temporal Manipulations. This one gets his other Wardens.
Yep, I kind of made it like prophecies and spell books.
Oh. I do like when themes do that, having like the 2 interweaving kind of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have Warden Technician Ulstern, a level 3 Light Machine Pendulum monster, scale of 4 with 200 attack and 2200 defense. As a monster effect, it also has the free special summon effect. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a Warden monster, including itself, you can banish a Warden or Temporal Manipulation card from your deck. And then it also is banished leaves the field. I assume there's going to be something later that synergizes with your banished Warden and Temporal Manipulation cards?
Quite a few, actually.
Good. Next up is Warden Vanguard Oleana, a level 6 Water-Winged Beast Pendulum monster with 2300 attack and 100 defense, with a scale of 4.
Ignore the bit after the scale.
Okay.
That's something I forgot to get rid of.
Got it. All right. If you have free scale change effect as a monster, special summon effect. As a quick effect, you can banish this card, and if you do, target one card your opponent controls. Banish both cards until your second standby phase after activation. Okay, so it's a temporary banish for both of the cards.
Yep.
Okay. Next is Warden Vandal Lorich, a level 7 Fire Warrior Pendulum monster with a scale of 4. Attack 2200, defense 200. Very appropriate for a fire monster.
Mm-hmm.
As a monster, as a quick effect, during the battle phase, you can banish this card, and if you do, special summon a banished Warden monster, except a copy of this card. And if this card would leave the field, banish it instead. Alright, so there's some of that banishing synergy.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Warden Investigator Aldrich, level 4 Dark Worm Pendulum Monster with a scale of 4 with 100 attack and 2300 defense. And then afterwards it says that it's eaten all of the other rekindled. That's weird. I don't know that Aldrich was like coming in from Dark Souls. What's the deal with that?
I need to check the. I think I need to check the orbital platform portal network. I think it may be going haywire.
Damn. Okay. Well, let's go with this text here and see if that clears anything up. As a monster, during your main phase, you can target one banished Warden monster and shuffle both the targeted card and this card into the deck. And if you do, special summon a Warden Exceeds monster from your extra deck, ignoring summoning requirements. Okay. We'll see what those Exceeds monsters have in store for us later. Next we have Warden Magus Farah, a level 2 light spellcaster with a scale of 4 with 500 attack and 1900 defense. As a monster, during your main phase, you can target a banished Warden monster. Shuffle both the targeted card and this card into the deck, and if you do, special summon a Warden Synchro monster from your extra deck, ignoring summoning requirements. Okay.
So one minor thing about the monster lineup,
Mhm.
their stats all add up to 2400.
Oh. And is is 2400 a special number?
There's a small in the theming there's a bit of a time theme throughout this entire thing.
Oh, so it's like 24 hours in a day?
Pretty much.
You clever think. I think that's an appropriate animal to that's also clever. I don't know animals.
Fair.
All right, temporal manipulation jump cut. If you control Sorry, as an editor, that's just a great name. Counter trap card. If you control a Warden Pendulum monster or a Pendulum monster card with 2 different scales, you can activate this effect. When your opponent declares an attack, banish a Warden Pendulum monster from your hand, banish the attacking monster, and if you do, it becomes the end phase of this turn.
In essence, that's essentially a kind of like a souped-up negate attack.
Yeah, we're not just going to main phase 2, buddy. Your turn is over.
Pretty much. Also, yeah, you're right. All the spells and traps are named after editing terminology.
I'm seeing it now. Smash cut, match cut. Son of a... How did you make an archetype that was specifically for me?
Because I used to edit some years back.
Let's go.
Hey,
all right. Temporal Manipulation Continuity Error is a normal trap card. Activate only during the battle phase in which you control a Warden monster and you took 2,000 or more damage this turn. Banish all monsters on the field and special summon as many Warden monsters up to the number your opponent controls. And if your opponent does the same, up to the number you controlled. Your life points become the amount you had at the beginning of the battle phase, and it becomes the beginning of that battle phase. These monsters weren't in this position when this battle phase started.
It's almost like it's a bit of an error.
What the deuce? Alright, Temporal Manipulation Montage is a continuous spell card. When this card is activated, choose a main monster zone on your field. While this card is phased up on your side of the field, only monsters you control in the chosen zone can declare an attack. If you control a Pendulum monster with 2 different scales, you can activate this effect. When a Warden monster you control deals battle damage to your opponent, you may banish a Temporal Manipulation card from your graveyard, and the monster that attacked, and if you do, special summon a banished Warden monster. You can only... I presume that means use this effect once per turn.
I didn't realize that was unfinished. I was intending to make that a soft once per turn. If you have enough cards, you can keep firing it.
Oh, so if you have 3 temporal manipulations and you target the same zone with all 3 of them, you just keep cycling through banished wardens to keep attacking.
The idea was you pick one zone, you just you banish whatever you summon, and you can just keep making attacks so long as you have the temporal manipulation cards to fuel it.
All right. Okay. That's one way to OTK. Alright, next is Temporal Manipulation Smash Cut. Quick play spell card. When this card is activated, you can immediately after this effect resolves, special summon any number of banished Warden monsters whose levels are exclusively between the pendulum scales of the cards in your pendulum zones, and this is treated as a pendulum summon. Ooh, alright.
A bit of a way the deck is able to pendulum summon without using the extra deck, and why a lot of the wardens banish themselves.
Yeah, having an in archetype, what is that banned trap card now? Return from the different dimension? It seems pretty strong. Next is Temporal Manipulation Match Cut. Normal trap card. Activate only if you control a pendulum monster card whose pendulum scales are 2 different numbers. Reveal 3 Warden monsters from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to special summon and banish the rest, thereby setting up Smash Cut.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of inspired by the Gold Pride trap card.
Yeah, if you're going to take inspiration from anything, it's good that it was one of the coolest cards out there.
Fair.
Alright, next is Temporal Manipulation Snap In. Quick play spell card. Activate only if you control a pendulum monster card whose pendulum scales are 2 different numbers. Banish a Warden monster from your deck, and if you do, add a Warden monster from your deck to your hand with a different type and level than the banished card. And then we have Warden Headquarters Chronomus, a field spell. Warden monsters you control gain 200 for each banished Warden or Temporal Manipulation card. Once per turn, you can shuffle 3 banished Warden and or Temporal Manipulation cards into your deck, and if you do, draw a card.
Consistently field spell.
We love the consistency field spell. Now we just need a link 1. I did a quick scan and didn't see a link 1.
There is not a link 1.
Alright, that's fair. Alright, next up we have Jasper, Warden of Time, a rank 5 Psychic Exceeds Pendulum monster with 2400 attack and defense and a scale of 4. As a pendulum spell, if you have a Warden Pendulum monster card in your pendulum scale, you may change 1 pendulum scale on this card to a number between 1 and 9. Also, you cannot special summon non-Warden monsters except from the extra deck.
Oh, yeah, apparently all the monsters share that effect. I forgot about the extra decks.
No, you're good. Wouldn't Jasper, Warden of Time, fulfill its own requirements for its own pendulum effect? Because it is itself a Warden Pendulum monster card.
True, you're right.
Okay. Just wondering if I was missing something. Alright, as a monster, it requires 2 Warden Pendulum monsters as material, though we know that you can just cheat this out regardless. This card must first be special summoned by Xyz summoned, or, while this card is face up in the extra deck, by shuffling 2 Pendulum monster cards you control with a pendulum scale of 2 different numbers into the deck. Oh, so there's 3 ways to summon this. Incredible.
It's kind of the premier go-to extra deck monster of the deck.
Yeah, so more access is, it's good. As a quick effect, you may target up to 2 banished Warden and or Temporal Manipulation cards and shuffle them into the deck, and if you do, banish that many cards your opponent controls until their second standby phase after activation. If this card leaves the field, banish it instead. Next is Valtena, Warden Guide, a level 8 Machine Synchro Pendulum monster with 0 attack and defense, requiring a tuner and 1 or more non-tuner pendulum monsters as material. While this card is face up in the extra monster zone, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. During your draw phase, before you draw, you can give up your normal draw this turn, and if you do, add a Temporal Manipulation card that is banished or is in your grave to your hand.
Basically snagging whatever you need at the time.
Yeah. Why would I leave it up to chance when I can just grab back the card I need?
Exactly.
And lastly, we have Albedo, Warden Catastrophe, a Link 4 Dark Psychic monster with up, down, down, left, and right arrows. So it's almost a cross, except for the down left one, which is just kind of like, I'll just let my hand down for a second. No one's going to notice.
Yeah.
has 3,600 attack, requiring 4 pendulum monsters with different names. Must be special summoned by link summon or by shuffling 4 banished warden monsters into your deck. Oh, it's just that easy.
Just that easy.
Quick effect, you may target 3 banished warden or temporal manipulation cards and shuffle them into the deck, and if you do, shuffle all of your opponent's banished cards into the deck, and if you do, banish up to that many cards from their field and or graveyard. And if this card leave the field, banish it instead. So this is just like a vicious cycle where you put their banished cards back, you banish more, enabling your banishing effects again.
It's almost like it's just a cycle that continuously goes on and on.
On and on.
Almost for eternity.
Oh. Dang, I wish Yu-Gi-Oh's time rules went on for eternity. Am I right, folks? Am I?
Against some decks, it might.
Alrighty. Well, those are some seriously honking chonkers we've got over here. Are there any interactions that we missed out on while we were going over these cards? Or rather, that I missed out on while we were going through these cards, that you want to cover before we move on to the next part?
Not that I know of at the very least.
Alrighty, well then let me go ahead and crank out the Nova scale. On the novelty end, I am a sucker for anyone attempting to do the whole pendulum monsters having more than one scale on them. I think we are of a same mind here where that was vastly underused design space that they just dropped, and I'm very upset that they didn't do that.
Oh, agreed.
And it's a pendulum deck that revolves around banishing things, thereby negating most of what pendulums were meant to do. So, for going against the grain on that one, I've got to give this a 5. Like,
this is a pendulum deck that can play Macrocosmos.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Alright, objectivity. Are these cards too powerful and or are their formats good? I think their formatting is good. I didn't see anything that... of course, when it comes to having multiple scales on a single card, it's gonna be rough to figure out what the actual legit problem-solving card text would be, so I can't really judge that one. So, but for all the other effects, they seem fine. And while we have things like Smash Cut, that is really just a pendulum summon that effectively lets you use the old pendulum summoning rules.
Which is actually what I was going for, because I still don't like how pendulums were neutered.
Hey, there we go. But the drawback is that you are playing in a deck that is actively hostile towards the active regular pendulum summoning with all the banishing, and you have to invest a card in it. So I can't really say that it's too powerful. I mean, not that it's like not. It is powerful. It's just like you're not gonna Pepe board right afterwards, or whatever the modern equivalent of that would be. So I think this also has to have a 5 on objectivity. Versatility, now that's where things get a little funky because it doesn't work on the same axis as other pendulum cards. It doesn't have any consistent attribute or typing to slot in with other archetypes to just splash that in. It does give you a very impressive set of scales, but if scales were all that mattered, then we would be splashing metal foes into everything. And you should be splashing metal foes into everything, but we're not, so I have to, live with that revelation.
I mean, who doesn't love spoon bikes?
If they don't, then they're no friend of mine. I keep my spoon bike in the garage for special occasions. So I think our versatility count, we're going to give it a 2. You can technically use them as scales for things, but I don't think that they have any broader application outside of that, unless there's something that I'm missing. That leaves us with awesomeness. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 5. I'll have to tell you, they're a cool. It's got this S-Force energy where it's a bunch of different disparate creatures coming together, and they have this cool build around mechanic that keeps them from playing like other members of their like associated mechanics, which I think is just bonkers. So I'm giving it a 5. So the Wardens are getting a 17 from me.
Right on.
All right. Do you have any other words for the audience or for me before we finish up here for the night?
Well, I only hope my follow up can measure up. I'm going to be working on the archetype that this one is being forced up against.
Ooh. Well, whether or not it reached the same heights, the important thing to me is that you keep flexing your creativity and making some really cool cards. So thank you again so much, Skybuster Leo. Not just for sharing these, but also for helping keep the Orbital platform going. I super appreciate it.
Heck yeah, and thanks for having me.
All right, wait. Have yourself a good one, okay?
You too.
S-Force Energy, yeah. Hey, Vam, how you doing? Alrighty. Clearly the Link one that searches the field spells the legacy support 2 years later. That's fair. That is fair. Series of cards I'm making them might just be a negative space on the V scale. Alrighty, well, that does it. That is everyone. We have covered 20 people's custom cards over the course of 3 days. Thank you to everyone who's stopped by, whether you were here for the entire thing or you just showed up every once in a while to see how busted bamboo sword cards can be. If you would like to join in on next month, and by next month I mean later this month because we are making up for May's. If you want to join in on June's custom card review, make sure you check out some of the links down below. There is the Discord where we all kind of hang out. The customs that I talk about on stream are for patrons, but we do have a section on the Discord where you can just share all of your ideas and you can get community feedback and show them off to everyone there. There's my YouTube channel where I do most of my main stuff. This is going up on the VOD channel, though, so if you want to see this, I'm going to get this all exported over there, hopefully in the next couple of hours. My Twitter is where I say most of my inane ramblings. You know, I explain why the ban list happened during YCS Philly. I have all the answers. Or other announcements that I'll be making throughout my tenure here as Silly Funny Streamy Man. And lastly is my Patreon. That money helps go towards keeping a roof over my head and making sure all the lights stay on. It gets you access to all of my videos early. In fact, Progression Polls Clash of Rebellion episode is going up in just a few hours as well. I've got that all rendered out and ready to go. I just got to get it uploaded. So if you want to see it now and don't wait till tomorrow, you can do that. If you pledge at $5 or higher, you can see that. You can join in on custom card reviews. And you have my eternal gratitude. Nova program poll stream when? Pardon? We got a custom card spot on the Discord. Oh, there's been a custom card channel for ages now. You can just go there and post whatever you want. Did you the Trihorn Dragon redeem? Let me double check here. Let me double check. We've got some review requests here. No, I did not do this one. I did this one. I did this other one. Let me get this taken care of real quick for Dinah real quick. Hey Nova, have you played the Lovecraftian horror action known as Bloodborne? Yeah, that's actually one of the few Souls games I've actually sat down and finished. I've done a playthrough where I've beaten the Moon Presence, but I don't think I've done like a New Game Plus run or anything. I enjoyed it for what it was at the time. Alright, cool. Sweet. Okay, bye! Trihorn Dragon hasn't played Bloodborne. Trihorn Dragon doesn't have the hands for it. And Saxophone, thank you so much for subscribing at Tier 1. Thank you ever so much. Prague Poll stream when? The next Prague Poll stream is going to be this Tuesday. This Tuesday, we are going to tally up the votes from tomorrow's episode, and we are going to pull some packs. Trihorn Dragon has not partaken in the old blood, and honestly, I wouldn't want them to. That's I don't think it's good for him. Okay, that's about everything for me. Of course, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, because I do like it when big number go up, and it helps with algorithm-related things, even if you're not able to join the Patreon. It literally means so much whenever you watch stuff. Click on that subscribe button, leave comments, do all the free things that requires no small amount of effort. I know that it's not always the easiest to write in the cesspool known as the comment section, but anytime you do, it does mean a lot to me that you would take the extra time to help boost everything, so that we can see some success. And I think that's everything from me. Let's go ahead and see who's streaming tonight. Who's on the stream game? Okay, there's not a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh people that I know that are streaming right now, so I'm going to send you over to someone different and new. There is someone who I have been watching recently on YouTube. I discovered them, called Firmth. If you saw my community posts a little while ago, you saw that I was showing off their Xenoblade video. Not Xenoblade, Xenogears video. Which is part 1 of a series that they're doing, but the part 1 episode is already fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and send you over to them. They are playing a game called Brutal Orchestra, which is just the weirdest looking roguelike game I ever did see, and so I need all of you to see it as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Send all of the love, energy, and compassion that hopefully has been fostered in today's stream. I will see all of you Tuesday for the Progression Polls opening stream. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.